Since I was born, but now I am getting youth. Hakuna motangu, hakuna koga book.
Okay now.
To question between my bed. I see. I see what I want to do with you.
Ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi ni ẹ kí n gbọ́, àkọ́bí ewé ayò, ewé tún méje, ìtún ló ní ọ̀tún ẹ̀ ṣe, ìfà ló ní kan fà ẹ̀ mọ́ra. Àìbínú gbogbo àtàrí, gbogbo méjì ọkà bàbà, gbogbo mẹ́ta ọkà wáṣẹ́. Orí ló túmọ̀ ẹnu, gbogbo ọ̀nà ní túmọ̀ ẹsẹ̀. Akọni ìmọ̀ tú ìmọ̀ ọjọ́, ìmọ̀ èmi ni wọn kì í dálẹ̀. Wọ́n bá lọ mẹ́lẹ́mọ́, wọ́n á fi jó ẹlẹ́mọ́. Akọni wọ́n bá lọ gbé fèrè. Wọ́n á fi jòyè ẹnùkú. Bọ́ọ̀wọ̀ wọn bá tẹ̀lé. Wọ́n á fi jòyè aláre. Àwọn mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta parapọ̀. Wọ́n wá jọ ń pẹ́ mọ́. Ẹ̀ẹ́mọ́ olóko jẹ. Wọ́n pa Akíntọ́lá. Akíntọ́lá ọmọ Ògún. Wọ́n pàdé ìyọ̀dà. ọmọ àtàràbọ̀bà àkọ́bí wọ́n pàdé ṣàtàdá dẹ ọmọ ọba ìjẹ̀bú mèrè aṣíwájú odò gbólùkẹrẹ ajagun lólòdì ọ̀run tó bá ṣe pé tìyẹ tó bá ṣe pé tìyẹ lọ́ bá ń darí jọ wí àgbèrò ní kún gbọ́wọ́ ọ̀gọ́ ti ṣìgìdì máa gbé àgẹ́tì ló máa ń gbé àyàn tí ìlàyàn ewúrẹ́ ọlọ́run dákun má padà lẹ́yìn ẹ kó má gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ aṣíwájú ọlọ́run dákun má padà lẹ́yìn ẹ kó má gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ àkọ́bí ọlọ́run dákun má padà lẹ́yìn ẹ kó má gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ ọkọ̀ onírẹ̀lẹ̀ ọlọ́run dákun má padà lẹ́yìn ẹ kó má gbàgbé ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ òdòlé sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ gọ́fìnà sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ dẹ́pútì sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀túnba sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ spíkà sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ìjẹ̀bú.
And there it is right there, Baba Ijebu. So where am I? Where am I? Is the question. Where am I? Oh, there I am. So there I am, and there you are. So let's do it. So here I am. There you are. So here we are. So here I am. There we are. There you are. Here we are. So I'm starting to tire somewhat of apologizing for the late start. So you just have to bear with me for the moment that the starting time is going to be somewhat skittish. Hopefully not for too much longer, but it is going to be somewhat skittish. That's been the experience, and the sessions might not be as long as we're traditionally accustomed to. So some changes coming on the platform, so necessarily changes has to come on the platform. So some changes will come, and you'll be seeing those changes as they start to evolve. So let's just do it. It's going to be somewhat of a shortish session today. We'll see how long it lasts, but almost certain to be a short session. But good day to you, good to be your company, and how are you? We should always start with a greeting. It's just manners, isn't it? Good day to you, good to be your company, and how are you? We do it again. We always do it. So we do it again, and we do it in this fashion. I said it was going to be a short session only because there are not that much to talk about. You know, there's nothing. It's still the news cycle is still very much cycling around that Fubara weekend narrative, and I tire of it somewhat. It's somewhat repetitive. Totally predictable, and it's just how much more can you say about those two elements? But we will speak about them again today, but because there's not much more to speak about, so we'll be speaking about them a little bit today. We'll be speaking about the Falano very dark man Bobrisky saga, because that space still continues to give. So we see what the latest it has in terms of the installment of the saga. So we'll be speaking about that certainly, but we'll certainly be speaking about this as well. Let me play you this clip as the start off. A lot of people sent in this clip to me, so we'll watch it and then we'll see what we're making of it. So let's kick it off with the clip.
I'm sure you'll be glad to know that the federal government has approved an airstrip for Canaan land. You are walking in the center of God's plan. So I won't need to fly an helicopter to the airport. I can go from here to wherever I'm going. Amen. Members with their planes will have where to land and park. Amen. By being in the center of God's plan. I had pressure on my life, 87, for this ministry to move to America. People were pressing. I said, hold on a minute. Let me ask the Lord. The Lord said, no. Oh, we need this ministry. No. A need is not equal to a calling. I'm not called to be there. I'm called to be here. Amen. And from here, the light is shining all over. Tonight, you'll be glad to know 54 Chinese are here on ground to come and congratulate me and be blessed. They are pastors of renown. One of them oversees 10,000 churches. Amen. Not for factory, not for industry, ministry, by being in the center of the plan of God for your life. So young people, wake up. I have some of my sons here who are in fashion industry. They make dresses for me. Packaging like age-long industries because they found their place in God. A number of them are into decoration, fixing things in homes, and they are doing excellently well. Each one finding its place. Won't you be glad to know that I have some captains that fly me who are graduates of Covenant University? Yet we don't.
All right. So that is some random pastor that's been granted the license to build an airstrip. So a lot of people somewhat conflicted about how to, not even conflicted. A lot of people are somewhat resistant to that idea. You see, the license granted him. You have to be. The thing we do in Nigeria is that we read the headline. We don't have the full grasp of what's being said, and then we run with our prejudices and start to lash out in criticism. That's what we do in Nigeria. That's what we do majorly. It's only people like me with a functioning brain that doesn't do that. The abundance of everybody else, that's what they do. They read the headline, not even the body of the story, and even if they read the body of the story, they are already prejudiced from the headline and they're from their political leaning in order then to misinterpret and then go out lashing and slashing. So now, this guy has been granted a license to build an airstrip. Understand that. A license to build an airstrip. So understand that first. So an airstrip, if you don't understand, is totally and categorically different from an airport. I'm sure anybody watching this platform knows that. I suspect people who don't watch this platform would not know that. But an airstrip, for the benefit of clarity, is totally, utterly separate and distinct, from an airport. Totally different things. An airstrip is essentially just a strapline railway on a field that allows a small plane or a helicopter to land. People have it in their back door in America. It's not anything. And also, when you say it allows a plane to land, it's an internal plane. Do you understand? It's not somebody flying from Dubai coming to land in your backyard. No, because that's international flight. But internal planes of a certain size can land on that airstrip. And that is the license that has been granted to this church, Canaan Land, or whatever it is. I'm not really in that space, so I don't really know a lot of these people. They're just 419 guys to me. But that's what's been granted to that guy, and a license to build an airstrip. And a lot more people will be getting those licenses, by the way, because there's a lot of people with aeroplanes within the Nigerian space. So he's been granted the license to build an airstrip. And I, for one, I cannot see where the problem is. If he has an airplane sufficient enough to feel he needs an airstrip, then let him have an airstrip. So hopefully that caps that off. An airstrip, just for the third and clearest time, is totally different and distinct from an airport. So the fact that the guy has been granted a license to build an airstrip is not something that you should go wild over. So not something you should go, but you will go wild anyway. Yeah, this Tinubu, they've turned it into you know how it goes. But just for the benefit of, just so you have the understanding, even though you go with your prejudices, they say never let the facts, FACTS, never let the facts get in the way of a good story. And that is somewhat the sort of opposition we're seeing against the sitting administration. Nobody cares about the facts. They care about their prejudices, and they care about campaigns of calumny, which they are using as a political campaign tool to sort of drive in between the last election, this guy's administration, and the next one. So they continuously try to keep the administration on a negative in order then to land the administration on a negative come the next election. And that is essentially what we're seeing. You know that the credit core thing, you know that I think somebody actually sent it to me. Let me see if I've got it. You know, the credit core thing, that's actually started, but then of course, they'll start to do their usual whatever it is that they do. Let me see if I can find that headline. Somebody sent it to me. Let me see, where is it? Let me see. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, here it is. So let me actually start it off with this one. I got my credit card loan without knowing anyone. So this is a beneficiary. So of course, this will never make the front line of the headlines because of course, this somewhat might hint. Oh no, it's not showing. So yes, let me put it up. I got my credit card loan without knowing anyone. This is a beneficiary. So, as I was saying, this will never make the front lines of the headlines because, of course, it doesn't serve to infer that the administration is actually doing anything that aids and assists the Nigerian population. So this is a follow-on from the students' loan, which has been a resounding success. So now we're at the piloting stage now of yet another seismic move in the configuration of how Nigeria works as an entity. So I'll unbundle all of that convoluted gobbledygook, but let's get into it first. I got my credit card loan without knowing anyone. This is a beneficiary. The federal government has launched a new loan program through the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation to provide, let's start again. The federal government has launched a new loan program through the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation to provide financial relief to Nigerians facing the impact of recent fuel price hikes. Credit Corp, a development financial institution, was established to democratize access to consumer credit for Nigeria's working population. The loans are being offered through participating financial institutions to help households meet urgent needs and ease the burden on their budgets. In a statement released on Monday, Credit Corp emphasized the initiative is part of the government's effort to address the rising cost of living and provide much needed support during these challenging times. The corporation added that Nigerians interested in applying for the loan can do so by visiting the Credit Corp website. We are actually going to visit that website right now, see how it works. Let me just copy that. Let me just yes. Right now, see how it works. Let me just copy that and let me just yes. Let me actually see if it does work. All right. Yes. Oh, okay. So it does work. All right. All right. We carry on. In a statement released on Monday, Credit Corp emphasized this initiative is part of the government's effort to address the rising cost of living and provide much needed support during these challenging times. The corporation added that Nigerians interested in applying for the loan can do so by visiting the Credit Corp website, and then it goes on to give the website. Currently, civil servants are the primary beneficiaries of the program, though it is expected to expand to the general public soon. Our Credit Corp further explains that over 10,942 civil servants across various sectors have already benefited, including 4,786 education workers, 1,307 healthcare professionals, 753 specialized workers, 1,264 police and paramilitary officers, and 2,831 administrators. One of the beneficiaries, Mrs. Hawa Bawa of the Ministry of Labor and Productivity, shared her experience. I got my loan without knowing anyone. I applied online and the funds were disbursed promptly. It helped me take care of my small farm and some serious household needs. I can't thank Credit Corps and President Tinubu enough. This loan program comes at a critical time. Nigerians struggle with soaring fuel cost. It's not really the loan, by the way, the credit card system is not really geared towards alleviating whatever impact the cost of petroleum has on household income. So it's just come for two. How do you say that word? For two. I remember. It's just come in time for two. Well, you know the word I'm trying to reach for. My English is failing me. Fortuitously. It's just come fortuitously. Just when the petrol cost is high, but it's not geared towards that space. It is essentially the establishment of a structure that allows you to expand your income. The loan program comes at a critical time as Nigerians struggle with soaring fuel costs. In September 2024, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, so the loan is not really geared towards that, but there it is right there. So that's the credit card now onboarded. So the landscape of the Nigerian space changing before our very own eyes. So here it is right here. Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation. Let's see. How do you apply for a loan? Let's just let's have a little bit of nose around. So how to apply for credit? Apply now for credit via our growing list of financial institutions with up to 50% reduction in interest rates. Yes, so this is where you go to, and I think these are the participating financial institutions, Credit Direct, loans to civil servants, teachers, etc. And this is Wema Bank. This is geared towards the general public. Asion, MFB, that's geared towards the general public as well. Let's show go MFB. This is for teachers for purchase of alternative energy like solar panel to deal with petrol costs. So a lot of these financial institutions are geared towards specific needs. Abe Mortgage Bank for home improvement, school fees, solar energy. Short on cash, no worries. Get consumer credit for household improvement, fees, or solar. So here it is right here. So here it is right there. So it's not free money, of course, and there will be a nominal interest rate applied. But that nominal interest rate, the monies will be collected directly from source. So that's why this sort of system works perfectly with people like civil servants, etc. So so you take that. A lot of you have availed yourself. You've accessed credit before, so you know how it works. So you take that loan, and especially for the civil servants, and then that loan comes directly from source. I think from your monthly salary. So you take a 10,000, you take 100,000 naira loan over the course of a year or thereabout. The interest rate applied about maybe 10%, just for the purposes of example, and then so that comes to 110,000. So then 10,000, 11,000 then or thereabout, maybe 10,000 even is deducted from your salary at source over the duration of the lifespan of that loan, and that's how it works. So it enables you then stretch your money more. So rather than take that 10,000, 100,000 naira out of your salary, you spread it over a course of a period of time, and that is the system that's been introduced. So there it is. So there it is now. So what more? So I think it's an excellent idea, and as I'm sure you do. So I think it's an excellent idea, as I'm sure you do. Let's go from there to this one. Nnpc quits as middleman in Dangote refinery petrol purchase. So this is one that has this one confused a lot of people in the build-up to that Dangote launching. Hold on. So this one confused a lot of people in the build-up to the Dangote launching. So after Dangote told us that he started to pump PMS out, and then suddenly they started to tell us then that the sole purchaser of PMS from Dangote will be the Nnpc. So the Nnpc will be the sole off-takers, and then they would then be the distributors to oil marketers, which one seems at the surface a convoluted system, but then even so a system that leans towards corruption. So it looks as though that Nnpc middleman role has now been removed. So just from the headlines then, it looks as though the marketers now can directly access Dangote to purchase at an agreed price. But who sets that price is still something that's yet to be fully established. But let's get into it. Nnpc quits as middleman in Dangote refinery petrol purchase. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Nnpc, is ending its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote Refinery, opening up the market for other marketers to buy petrol directly from the refinery. So correspondents can authoritatively report today. So that's probably the biggest news so far, bigger than the burning of our secretariats in they're always burning up themselves in they're like I don't want to say they're like savages, but let me, because I want to start removing that sort of language from the streams. So I want to start cleaning it up a little bit. But deep in the recesses of my thoughts, I probably think they are savages over there. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is ending its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote Refinery, opening up the market for other marketers to buy petrol directly from the refinery. Correspondents can authoritatively report. This means Nnpc will no longer be the sole off-taker, and marketers can now negotiate price directly with Dangote Refinery. So that's a crucial piece of information right there. So marketers can negotiate a price with Dangote Refinery. So what does that mean? So there is an overarching body, of course. There's an overarching organization. There's organization or whatever it is, a committee of oil marketers. They have a body. So do they negotiate with Dangote as a body, or do they negotiate as individual marketers? And is there going to be price fixing of some sort? So there still has to be a government supervision of that negotiation, just for somebody to be there to advocate for the citizenry. Actually, let's take it from the top again. The Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited, Nnpc, is ending its exclusive purchase agreement with Dangote Refinery, opening up the market for other marketers to buy petrol directly from the refinery. Correspondents can exclusively report. This means Nnpc will no longer be the sole off-taker and will no longer be the sole off-taker, and marketers can now negotiate price directly with Dangote Refinery. This development aligns with the current practices for fully deregulated products, where refineries can sell directly to marketers on a willing buyer, willing seller basis. So there'll be price fixing if there's no interjection of advocacy for the people there. So that negotiation, it has to be supervised by an external body. Earlier in September, Davankumar Edwin, Vice President of Dangote Industries Limited, said the 650,000 barrels per day Dangote Refinery has begun processing petrol. Mr. Edwin explained that Nnpc Limited would buy its product exclusively, but Nnpc, in a statement, in reaction to a statement that the Dangote Refinery Limited is being undermined by actions of the company at the time, said it was not the sole off-taker of all products from the refinery. It said the refinery was free to sell petrol to any marketer. So it is very important that the word petrol is mentioned there, because at a point you thought they were trying to be clever with language. So it says the Nnpc, in reaction to a statement that the Dangote Refinery Limited is being undermined by the action of the company at the time, said it was not the sole off-taker of all products from Dangote. So the sole off-taker of all products from Dangote, that's not really where our interest is. We want to know if it's the sole off-taker of petrol, which is the preeminent product that actually concerns Nigerians. It said it is not the sole off-taker of all products from the Dangote refinery. It said the refinery is free to sell petrol to any marketer. So is that one singular line right there that liberalizes that market space? The Nnpc explained that the Dangote refinery and other domestic refineries are free to sell directly to any marketer on a willing buyer, willing seller basis, which is the current practice for a fully deregulated product such as diesel, aviation fuel, and kerosene. But on September the 15th, the Nnpc began loading petrol from Dangote refinery. Although some major petroleum marketers were later reportedly arrived. No, that should not be reportedly, should it? Although some major marketers were later reported to have arrived to lift products from the refinery under the agreement with Nnpc Limited, independent marketers remained excluded. On September the 26th, the House of Representatives called on the federal government to mandate the Nnpc and Dangote refinery to allow independent marketers to lift petrol directly from the refinery. The lower chamber also urged the management of Dangote refinery to build, acquire, or partner to establish tank farms or depots across the geopolitical zones of the country to ease access to petroleum products for the public. The call followed a motion of urgent public importance moved on Thursday by XYZ from PDP Bayelsa State. Moving the motion, Mr. Ofoji explained that the exclusion of independent marketers threatened competition in the sector. He noted that competition is essential for reducing cost, adding that some marketers may resort to importing products to survive in the market. Nnpc and the major marketers, being the exclusive off-takers, spell monopoly, which is tantamount to greed. This is the same Nnpc that has failed to manage our crude and refineries for decades. The lawmaker said at the time. Those familiar with the market told correspondents that Nnpc is now set to withdraw as the sole off-taker to allow other marketers to directly purchase petrol from Dangote refinery at the prevailing market price, promoting competition and potentially stabilizing the supply chain. So, all right. Let's just get the rest of it. Femi Shoneye, the spokesperson for the Nnpc, is not immediately available to comment on the story, but a top official of the company confirmed the development to correspondents on Monday. Yes, it is true, the official said. We can no longer continue to bear that burden. The Nnpc had claimed in September that it was buying petrol from Dangote refinery at 898 naira per liter and selling to marketers at 765, shouldering a subsidy of almost So now, if they were buying from Dangote, if they are, I don't even care how much they claim they are buying from Dangote. If they are selling to the marketers at 765 naira 66 kobo per liter, and the price of petrol is over 1,000 naira at the pump, then that will tell you then that the marketers are they are on a double your money deal. That's essentially what that means. The Nnpc lifted about 103 million liters of petrol from Dangote between September the 15th and the 30th. The refinery was able to load 2.2 million, 2,200 to 3,600 trucks sent to it within the period. Yes, let's go to the implications and then we round this off. Implications: Nnpc's withdrawal as the sole off-taker of Dangote Petrol marks a significant shift towards complete liberalization of the market, allowing marketers to source products directly from Dangote refinery or other suppliers, with Nnpc no longer covering the differential between Dangote's selling price and the price to the marketers. Subsidies will cease to exist. So what this means essentially is that the price of petrol will still go up even a bit more. So that's what that tells us. The price of petrol will go up a bit more. That's just there's no other reading outside of that. The price of petrol will go up just a smidgen, just a sliver more, but then it will stabilize at a point. Just as an aside, I was watching this YouTuber that I follow. I think she's from Kenya. She calls herself the African Tigress. So she travels around the world. She's in Nigeria at the moment. And she was saying that she couldn't understand all this hoopla about the price of petrol. She was saying that of all of the countries that she had been to, Nigeria has the cheapest petrol yet that she has yet come across. But then, of course, she was dollarizing it. So yes, implications are Nnpc's withdrawal as the sole off-taker of Dangote Petrol marks a significant shift towards complete liberalization of the market, allowing marketers to source products directly from Dangote refinery or other suppliers, with Nnpc no longer covering the differential between Dangote's selling price and the price to the marketers. Subsidy will cease to exist. So yes, that's a very complicated space actually, because a lot more will stay within the national coffers, but then a lot more will come out of the citizenry's pockets. But then what stays within the national coffers then, as a result, this will be the first time, by the way, if this follows through, this will be the actual now final spot that marks those infamous words of Tinubu at his inauguration. Subsidy would now be fully removed. It will be fully removed now, because as Nnpc just already told us, they were buying petrol from Dangote at 898, selling it to the marketers at 700 and something, and footing the difference in form of a subsidy. So if the marketers buy directly from Dangote and there's no intersection by Nnpc, then now when this follows through, then we will arrive at the final port of destination of those now infamous statements. Subsidy is gone. Nnpc's withdrawal as the sole off-taker of Dangote Petrol marks a significant shift towards complete liberalization of the market, allowing marketers to source products directly from Dangote refinery or other suppliers, with Nnpc no longer covering the differential between Dangote's selling price and the price to marketers. Subsidy will cease to exist. Marketers will now buy directly from Dangote and sell at cost price, adding their own differential, which may lead to a hike in the product's price. Yes, the price of petrol will ultimately settle at about 1,400, 1,500. So you just have to suck it up, by the way. But how government then manages to insulate that space is what we're, and they are pushing then this CNG narrative as well. So we'll see how that market space settles. Also, marketers can now source products from anywhere, not just Dangote, promoting competition and potentially stabilizing supply chains. So the lack of petrol will no longer be a problem. It's the affordability of it now that will be the problem. Let's go on to this. New fuel price as filling stations slash pump prices after Nnpc's decision. So I think this is a follow through from that one we just read there. Filling stations owned by the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, in Abia State have reduced the pump price of premium motor spirits, commonly known as petrol. So I really hate when they do this, by the way. They say the premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol. So why don't you just call it petrol if that is what people know it as? And if you want to be highfalutin, then call it premium motor spirit. So premium motor spirit, just silly people. Let's carry on. Correspondence reports that the filling stations in Abia State, which used to sell at 1,300 naira and 1,350 naira per liter, have slashed their prices to 1,200 to 1,150 naira per liter. I hardly call that a price slash. That's just 100. That's just 100 naira off. That's a far cry from a price slash. The development follows the Nigerian National Petroleum Company opening its portal for direct request and payment for fuel from members of IPMAN. So whatever that means, we go with that. Let's just go from there to, this will be the final readout, by the way. So now this is from Nigeria to the international space, actually. Most Nigerians in Lebanon failed to show willingness to return home amidst Israel-Hezbollah conflict. This is the finance minister. And I think, to God, the foreign minister also spoke to that space as well. Speaking on efforts of the government to evacuate citizens, from Lebanon, let me take it from here. The Nigerian government has noted that many of the Nigerians in Lebanon have failed to show willingness to be returned home amidst the ongoing conflict in Lebanon due to the clash between Israel and Hezbollah. This was communicated in a statement by Ambassador Echi Abu Obe, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement on Saturday. Speaking on the efforts of the government to evacuate citizens from Lebanon, Abu Obe said, presently, about 500 Nigerians have registered with the mission. However, there are more than 2,000 Nigerian citizens residing in the country, even though most of them have not indicated willingness to return home in spite of the persuasion of our embassy. We will continue to do everything to ensure the safety of our citizens. The ministry, so the easy go-to for this sort of narrative would be that that Nigeria is so awful that people are still willing to live in a war zone than to come home to Nigeria. So that's the easy go-to to that sort of. But there's as always, it's always in the nuance, isn't it? As always with any and everything, it's always in the gray areas. So the gray areas of this sort of a narrative is that what is going on between, let's say, for instance, they're saying, oh, because Boko Haram is attacking people in Borno State, the United Kingdom has sent in planes to go and evacuate British citizens there. and then the British citizens are not showing willingness to go back home. So if somebody is living in Lagos, he has no concern or really under no threat by what is going on in Borno. So similarly, ditto what may well be going on in Lebanon. If they don't feel especially endangered, then they have no reason to run back home. So that's just it. So it's nothing to do with that Nigeria is so awful they don't want to come back home. That may well be part of it, but the broader strokes of it is that analogy that I just gave. The fact that they are ravaging and savaging in Zamfara state does not then mean that an Italian guy that lives in Lekki has to then be evacuated. What for? Is not in Zamfara. So I think that might well be the nuance of that narrative. Most Nigerians in Lebanon failed to show willingness to return home amidst Israeli-Hezbollah conflict. I'm not quite sure why it is the finance ministry that is coming out with this headline. The Nigerian government has noted that many of the Nigerians in Lebanon have failed to show willingness to return home, to be returned home amidst the ongoing conflict in Lebanon due to the clash between Israel and Hezbollah. This was communicated in a statement by Ambassador Echi Abu Obe, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in a statement on Saturday. Speaking on the efforts of the government to evacuate citizens from Lebanon, Abu Obe said, presently, about 500 Nigerians have registered with the mission. However, there are more than 2,000 Nigerian citizens residing in the country. Even though most of them have not indicated willingness to return home, in spite of the persuasion of our embassy, we will continue to do everything to ensure the safety of our citizens. The ministry urged Nigerians not to resist evacuation, saying the Nigerian government urges all citizens living in Lebanon not to resist evacuation because the ongoing conflict may escalate, and appeals for cooperation with the evacuation process and follow safety guidelines. Nigeria appreciates the understanding of the international community and will continue to monitor the situation. The statement, it further stated. Further to the last statement issued on the evacuation of Nigerians from Lebanon, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wishes to elucidate on the information contained therein. In this connection, the federal government of Nigeria has commenced evacuation procedures for Nigerian citizens living in Lebanon following the escalating conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. The administration of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, wishes to reiterate that the safety and well-being of its citizens remains its top priority. In light of the deteriorating security situation in Lebanon, government has activated emergency protocol to ensure the swift and safe evacuation of our citizens back home as soon as possible. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in collaboration with the Presidency, National Emergency Management Agency, Department of State Services, National Intelligence Agency, Nigerian Immigration Service, look at the plethora. There has to be a single portal, all of these things, they could have just come under the purview of Abike Dabiri Arewa. So all of the elements within all of these necessary spaces, they should be embedded already within the Abike Dabiri Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, or whatever she runs. They should already be embedded in that commission, so they are more swift of feet. They're more sleek of feet. They move better at pace when emergency a situation arises. So imagine then trying to synergize all of this when you know that this is not the first time we've had to. Remember when we had to go and get people out of places like Mali, even in South Africa, in some instances when Alan Oyema helped out. So all of these parastatals and agencies, they should already be embedded within one single structure, which is that Abike Dabiri Arewa structure. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in collaboration with the Presidency, that's one. The National Emergency Management Agency, 2. DSS, 3. National Intelligence Agency 4, Nigerian Immigration Service 5, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission 6, and other relevant bodies. Can you imagine that? So that's just unnecessary bureaucracy aimed at looting. So they'll all be paid some extra whatever it is, out of station convenience, million naira each all round. In coordinating the evacuation exercise to ensure the safe return of Nigerians from Lebanon, our embassy in Beirut has been issuing several advisories since the conflict started, for our citizens to stay indoors and follow local authorities' instructions, as well as to those who have not registered with the embassy to do so through email. And then they sent in the email. The ministry said it was pleased to report that no life has been lost, so no Nigerians killed so far. So those supermarket bombings by the Israelis with their mobile phone, walkie-talkie, James Bond something. It said, in view of the commendable efforts made by the embassy, working in concert with the leadership of the Nigerian community to evacuate fellow Nigerians from southern Lebanon, the epicenter of the conflict, to Beirut, the administration of President Tinubu is making arrangements to send a C-130 aircraft or any other available flight for the evacuation exercise. The Nigerian government urges all citizens living in Lebanon not to resist evacuation because the ongoing conflict may escalate, and appeals for cooperation with the evacuation process and follows, etc., etc. So those are Nigerians then resisting having to leave Beirut to come back home. So I mean, I don't know, man, but that's a funky one. But there it is. Like I said, the news cycle is not as gushing in its giving, and I don't want to especially get locked down in Fubara Wiki. So let's do a bit of Fubara Wiki, and then we'll see if anybody wants a conversation. Like I said, likely to be a short session. But let's do a bit of Fubara Wiki. So Fubara Wiki. It sounds like a song, doesn't it? Fubara Wiki. If you put a drum beat to that, I wonder how that will go. Fubara Wiki. Let's kick it off with this one that takes us down memory lane to land us then at where we are. So let's pick it up from here.
Oga Wiki, why you dey frustrate Governor Fubara like that now?
What's the problem?
I want to know now.
Rubbish.
But you have a good relationship with him.
No, we're not in good time politically.
But wetin be the genesis of this una problem sef? As in, wetin you want make him dey do for you so that both of you will be at peace?
To worship me. Not be juju be that.
You want him to be worshiping you?
Yes.
But he has worshipped you before now. Now that he's a governor, what do you want?
You continue to worship me.
For me to worship a human being, I can't do that.
It is smoky, boy.
Close your mouth.
You people should stop all these things now. Governor Fubara, what is the problem?
The jungle has matured.
What do you mean?
It means that
To see the nyash of the fowl. He has come to look for trouble.
yes,
I will give you trouble.
Oga Wiki, make una no fight, abeg.
Never. We must fight this fight.
Let's take a break. We will be back in a moment. Please stay with us.
I will not take a break. We must fight this fight.
Governor Fubara, what did he just do?
I just laughed.
It's not a laughing matter. Are you not bothered that Wiki want to fight you?
Why would I bother?
We must fight this fight.
Fight me.
So you think you can fight Wiki and defeat him?
Yes, honestly speaking.
Who born monkey?
Will you shut up your dirty mouth?
Excuse me, sir. This is the Honorable Minister of FCT. Please don't talk to him like that.
Make up punish you.
Oga, the way you take the defend Governor Fubara, it feel like the man don't give you money, abi?
The man give me money. Make you to go collect your own. Who don't like money? Nani, shut up your dirty mouth. That was too harsh. This man. Enough is enough of this.
Governor Fubara, you say you can fight and defeat Wiki.
By the special grace of God.
Your Excellency, make her no lie. Wiki go fit comot your teeth, oh.
That is impossible.
You mean
Honestly speaking. I will surprise them.
Governor Fayoshe, please come and help me advise Governor Fubara to stop this fight with Wike, I beg.
Your Excellency.
Yes.
I know Wike. Now, if he say he will fight you, it's either you surrender or you look for that trouble to the end.
The advisor.
The moment you want to see more than you are supposed to see, you begin to see spirit.
Your Excellency, please forget about this fight and forgive Wike, I beg.
I will not do that.
Oga Wike, you say beg him to forgive you now.
I will not.
But do you have the energy to fight Governor Fubara?
The energy in me is too much.
Like, are you strong enough to fight him?
Look, I'm too strong.
So if I leave you now, what will you do to him?
I will teach him a lesson.
You're telling me this?
Yes, to hell with you.
This fight is going to be very tough. Honestly, I'm afraid on your behalf.
Do not be afraid. I'm the one to stand for this fight. I will fight to stand still.
Don't make noise. It's only empty drum that make noise.
If that's what is paying you, you can go and hug the transformer.
Oga Dino, the chacham back in the Oga Wike ina yinan kana gan kaman zai iya dukan Governor Fubara.
To hell with you. Fashion uncle.
Oga Wike, why they talk to Oga Dino like that now? Is he not your friend?
No. We don't be friends.
Just leave Oga Dino for now. Please forgive Governor Fubara.
Never. They no go walk. We must fight this fight.
Oga Wike, please now, please.
They no go walk.
Please. Wike.
I said, don't call me again.
Your Excellency, I'm really bothered too.
Don't bother about anything. Nothing maker.
We must fight this fight.
Oh yeah now, no wahala. Since all of you have made up your mind to fight, Ngwano, go ahead and fight.
Cocks a gun and shoots it.
Who be that?
It's me.
Get ready for battle.
In the Bosky, stop putting kerosene inside fire now.
Get away.
Internet will be in trouble.
Oga Wike, where you be?
You heard what he said?
I hear him now. He say in the shoot gun in preparation for the fight between you and him.
Don't be so.
Now so, Oya come make una start the fight now.
Forget it, I'm off.
Oga Wike, come back make una fight now.
I will not.
So where you come dey run dey go now?
I'm traveling out.
Come back here.
I will not.
I don't understand. No be you talk say you want fight.
No. Don't be fighting.
Shame to you.
Oga Wike, Fubara don vex o. Just apologize to him. Make una settle this matter, abeg.
Please forgive me. I have made a mistake.
Continue to make mistake.
Don't be so. Please forgive me.
Governor Fubara, you don't forgive him.
Yes. Reconciliation for peace.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Oga Wike, you say tell am thank you now.
Thank you.
Politics with bitterness will not take us anywhere.
Not true.
God will help us to achieve the purpose of governance with your help.
Amen. So which document will you sign to prove to the world that indeed you have finally settled your fight with Wike?
Peace accord.
Oga Wike, when will you sign the peace accord?
I'm going to sign it now.
Thank God say you agree to settle this fight. If not, if to say una fight with Governor Fubara, he will break your teeth.
What kind of talk? Which kind of talk will be that?
Na true now, because Fubara na very strong man now. I think make a call and come back, make una fight.
No.
You see how fear Wike.
All right. So that's somewhat of a light-hearted look at the build-up to that. Not even the build-up. It's a synopsis. Let's use that word. A word not often used enough. A synopsis of the goings on there. So I'm going to play you more Wike Fubara stuff. But then after the Wike Fubara stuff, there's a heavy hitting clip that I could play to you. So you make that decision if you want to see it. It's a heavy hitting clip. You may not like it, because of what it may have to say. So let me know in the comment section if you want to see it. There's a heavy hitting. It's that strap line again between the Southwesterners and the Southeasterners. So it's a heavy hitting clip. If you want to see it, let me know in the comment section. But if you want a more mellow session, then let me know, because it will dabaru somewhat. A lot of things that is going to be said is going to somewhat be a dabaru-ish sort of clip. But if you want to see that heavy hitting clip, let me know. If you want to see the heavy hitting clip, let me know. As we continue with the wildness, I did say they were somewhat I recoil somewhat from describing, who am I to describe anybody as a barbarian? So I recoil somewhat using those sort of words, describing people of the South as barbarians, but they seem somewhat they're in a time lap between where the advancement is and where they live. So let's put it like that. So that's a cleaner way to put it. They're in a time lap. There's a time lap between where the mind frame in the South especially is and where the reality of contemporaneous Nigerian living is. So what do I mean? It will get explained by the next set of clips that we're about to play. So they've had this local government elections where this guy says he's fighting godfatherism. This is the Fubara. He says he's fighting godfatherism. And then he then leaves his own party. And then he goes from his own party to some satellite unknown space. And then he packs it with a bunch of dollars. And then he rigs an election. So fair dues. So whoever has the biggest money, it's a rigging game, isn't it? So in the 2023 elections, everybody rigged. Labour Party rigged, of course. We play a clip of their rigging here. PDP rigged, but the biggest rigger won it. So that seems to be the common. That's not my belief, by the way. I thought the fair winner won it, and the trajectory of politics said that the winner, who emerged as the winner, would win the trajectory of politics tells us that who emerged the winner was the person that would and should have emerged the winner. So it's a fair representation of the people's will. But the popular belief is that the biggest rigger won it. So if we're going with that colloquialism of the biggest rigger wins, so it's essentially what played out in Rivers State, isn't it? Rivers State is probably the richest per capita state, richer than Lagos. If you look at the sort of money that washes Rivers State, you could say that it's I think it gets the most derivative because it's the epicenter of the Nigerian oil field. So there's a lot of money there, and Fubara pumped a lot of that money into ensuring that he won 22 out of 23 local governments. They went in the way of a satellite party that nobody knows. So that is to tell you then that that's just rigged elections. So that's rigged elections. So this guy now saying that he's fighting godfatherism, this guy being Fubara claiming that he's fighting godfatherism, then goes on to rigging near enough 99% of an election to emerge as himself the new godfather of River State politics. So essentially capturing the structures of that space. So a plague on both their houses is essentially where you want to conclude. But when I'm saying they are in a time loop from what the rest of Nigeria is, this sort of behavior right there tells you that this is a throwback to what it's back in the days of wet here. We used to call this wet here, I think in the 80s, early 70s in Yoruba land, but this is still where they are in River State. Watch this. So there it is right there. Because now I don't know whose camp it is. They said this is a wicked scam. They've now proceeded in touching, well, when I'm saying touching, not to place their hands on it, but to set it ablaze. They've now proceeded to starting to burn down local government secretariats all over River State, to the point that Tinubu has called in the IGP to wag fingers at him. So there it is right there. So that's the sort of politics. It's a throwback, isn't it, to those wet days that we had in the early 70s, whatnot, in the Southwest. But still, within that River State space, still within that River State space, still. You know, they say nothing succeeds like success. I think you've heard me use that phrase before. And they also say to the victor, the spoils, you know. So to the victor, the spoils. Anything, and all of the things that victory captures, it goes to the victor, whoever emerges victorious. So that's what that phrase means. To the victor, the spoils. So to the victor, the spoils, and success doesn't really need explanation. It only needs glorying in. Success doesn't need explanation. You glory in success. So you glory in success. So over to Fubara.
Just give me a moment.
Okay.
Ms. Anke Dirks, please give me a moment. Let's hear from the executive governor of Rivers State, Governor Sim Fubara, who is live with us. What a day it's been. Your Excellency, thank you so much indeed for joining us tonight. 3 local government offices burnt down in your state today. Your Excellency, let's get your initial reaction to what has happened today.
Good evening, Shegun.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
I'm just coming in from Akwa Ibom. We went to pay condolence to our brother who lost his wife. And as I came in, I also got additional reports of what happened. It's really unfortunate. I need to say this so that everyone can hear from me directly. Early hours of this morning, we heard of the incident in Eleme local government area, where a section of the secretariat, the council secretariat was hurt. We also saw video making rounds of the complete destruction of the Ikwere local government council secretariat. We also got reports that some parts of Emowa local government council was also destroyed. It's really, really unfortunate. I need to say this. First of all, why do we need to do this? Election has come. Election has gone. The winners of the elections have been sworn in. They have a duration. After that, they will leave the office. Why do you need to destroy government facility? Things that were built with council's resources. Shegun, you'll be surprised to this. The Ikwere Local Government Council that is destroyed was built by the immediate past council chairman. And I can tell you, that is his legacy project. Why would you also go behind to destroy something that you did? Everybody knows in Nigeria that I have no hand in what is happening. We had election. There was the protest that the election should not hold. The election finally held. We inaugurated the winners of the election. And you were also hearing people boasting. I told you when I was, in fact, the people heard it when I was inaugurating them, that I heard that they were mobilizing 20 persons per ward so that they could go and demonstrate and cause mayhem. And this is a result of it. This is a result of it. I can tell you on good authority, this might not be the only instance for record. I'm aware that all local government councils have been marked down. The Fanga Council have been marked down for destruction. Why do we need to go this low? My meekness is not being weak. I need to say this. My meekness is not being weak. But I understand that we don't need to go violence for violence. Rivers State is our state. We need to protect the little thing we have.
All right, let me stop it there before he gets too violent and then YouTube strikes me. But that's the goings on in Rivers State. So you see then why I was a bit harsh in some of my wordings, that somewhat of a backwardness still going on there, burning down secretariats because an election was lost. So burning down secretariats because an election was lost, but then there is still a matter still unsettled. So this battle between Wike and Fubara now, the action Fubara took in this local government election, how is the PDP stood in terms of those actions taken? We saw the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed, go on a congratulatory visit to Fubara. So you would think that the party is on board with the actions taken by Fubara. But is the actions taken by Fubara, is it an anti-party action? That's the thing. Because PDP also, I think they said they withdraw somewhat, but they still fully participated in that local government election. So by moving the whole of the local government, bar one, to a satellite party, is that an anti-party action? So that is the question that this now next clip attempts to address. Watch this.
If there is a sitting governor who did not, who is said to have supported and built a structure for another political party and fed another political party in an election, how much of an anti-party, or how do you describe that kind of scenario?
Yeah, so you cannot describe that as anti-party because his party where he belongs. And if you listen to his inauguration speech today at the swearing in, he said he's still a member of the People's Democratic Party. So his party opted out from the election. And how do you explain that? A PDP state, yet PDP's leadership in the state said they are opting out of the election. So he decided that elections should hold. Now, let me make this point to you and to Nigerians. Benue had election. Akwa Ibom had election. Nobody heard about Akwa Ibom election or Benue election. But in Rivers State, I can tell you, look at the results. APP won 22. AA won 1 out of the 23 local governments. In the councillorship, 319 wards, about 6 or 7 parties won. That is to show you how liberal and how free the contest was in Rivers State. Benue is different. That's an APC state. APC won all the chairmanship slots and all the councillorship seats. So I think
let me ask you,
Governor Fubara deserves some.
Honorable Apara,
yes.
Let me ask you, you are a friend, a supporter, once a supporter, and a huge side player with former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. Where do you stand today?
Clearly, I'm a PDP member. I stand with Governor Sim Fubara in Rivers State, and I stand with the people of Rivers State.
I mean, can one describe that as some kind of betrayal? And on the other side, you know what they're saying, that your likes are now fair weather friends. At what point did you depart from supporting Nyesom Wike?
Okay, so it's good to put the record straight. I told you that up till his primaries, I was his agent, right? So, and the primary came after the emergence of Governor Sim Fubara as the candidate of PDP in Rivers State. So his primary came after. But the point of disagreement was that he decided to leave, not to support the PDP candidates. And we said, no, we are loyal PDP members. We will support PDP all the way. So we worked for PDP Atiku, and we supported Sim for the governorship. So we were PDP. So that was the point of disagreement, where on his own he clearly felt, oh no, he cannot support PDP because he lost the primaries for governorship, presidency, and lost the bid to become the running mate Atiku. So if it is a matter of betrayal, I can tell you that clearly he betrayed PDP and betrayed all of us. We all played major roles for his emergence in 2015, clearly, and he knows it. But today, all you hear is that he's the governor, he was the governor, nobody, clearly, you know, you've said it clearly. We all were part of making him. Two people that, aside God, first God, the next is former first lady, Patient Jonathan, another is Prince Uche Secondus, then we are the next level. But what is his relationship with all those people today?
Legally speaking, where do you think this election will stand in the eye of the law? This local government election,
there is a substantive judgment of court saying that election as a K-leg, as far as those 7 points position of the Honorable Justice Wite's court in Abuja has come out to proceed that, look, there are issues and there are positions of court on that election. There are other court orders which are injunctive in nature that have come before that. There are those who, legal minds who will say, there's going to be a fundamental problem with that local government election. Are you worried about that?
Which was the first order of court that was gotten? It was the order that said the election should hold before the Federal High Court order that came. But beyond that,
no, one is an injunction. Just for a moment, so that we can put perspective for our viewers to understand and not confuse them. The order coming from the High Court in Rivers State is an injunction, which is which expires. It has a deadline of which it can expire. So the judgment was a substantive judgment from the Federal High Court. So legally speaking, there are those who will say one is momentary. There is a more permanent one, which is a position of the Federal High Court. So that's perhaps the perspective. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, Sharon, let me even go with you without even conceding. Let's assume with what you've said. What is the lifespan of an interim order? 7 days, assuming. That order was given on the 30th. The election held on the 5th. Has it lapsed? But that is semantics. Let's go to the issue. Section 84 of the Electoral Act says no court can stop an election. And we should be careful because we are setting wrong precedent in this country. Otherwise, a court will give an order stopping the presidential election. A court will give an order. We should be careful. It's an election. And there are tribunals after. There is a tribunal, there is the appeal tribunal. Why don't they go there if there are issues? If there are issues. So the elections have held, and I'm sure you saw people voting. I voted yesterday. I'm sure you saw it. Rivers people voted. And today they were sworn in. So what is the issue?
Let me ask you quickly, so we wrap up this, Honorable Opara. Mr. Atiku Abubakar is coming out to say that Rivers people are resolute and reject oppression. Governor Fubara has said desperate situation calls for desperate actions. And I'm imagining that this is perhaps the first of a more troublesome legal and political times that we might be seeing in Rivers State going forward. But from your own standpoint, what kind of statement does the yesterday event or the event of the past days or today, the outcome of today, what does it portend for the politics of Rivers State?
Clearly, what it portends is that Rivers people are tired of oppression. Rivers people are tired of emperorship. Rivers people are tired of dictatorship.
Is that an emperor? Is that a dictator in Rivers politics?
There was.
Who is that?
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know. You might want to expand.
No, you listen to me. You know the difference? The difference now is that we have a governor who wants to serve people, not to be served. Not a governor who Adolf Hitler is his mentor or Trump. No, so this is the situation.
Who is the person you are talking about? It doesn't look like you're talking in proverbs.
It's better to talk in proverbs. I heard that.
So there it is. Never-ending saga. Rivers State. So, like I said, there's only really two storylines straddling the political space. Rivers State and a little bit of a very dark man. But we're still staying with Rivers State. Let's hear from Kenneth Okonkwo, who we tried to hear from yesterday, but we couldn't get the fullness of its flavor. But now we have the time, so let him unleash. You know, there is nothing Nigerians love more than to preen and to peacock. And there is nobody that exemplifies that preening and peacocking better than Kenneth Okonkwo. Just unfurling. Have you ever seen a peacock? You know they keep it as pets in the northern part of Nigeria for the colorfulness of its plumage. You know when it unfurls and all of those colors come into sparkle. This is what you get with Kenneth Okonkwo. He just likes to preen and to peacock. What do I mean? What this?
You think leadership is a common case? No. Esther said, if I perish, I perish. Whenever you are in leadership, look at what happened to Donald Trump. In America, where security is everywhere. Yet, 2 times now they wanted to kill him. Every profession has its own risk. If you're not willing to take the risk that is attached to any profession, step aside so that people who are given that mind by God will go ahead and serve God in that capacity. If you're an actor and an actress and you say you're not going to hug babes and you're not going to kiss them, step aside. Because that's what the job is. Don't come and say you're a born-again Christian. That's what the job entails. If you're a politician and you can't stand for your people that voted for you, and because you don't want to die, step aside. Because that's what the job entails. Any politician that is not behaving like Simfubara, who will resist and protest when his rights are trampled upon, knowing that our judicial system, knowing that our electoral system have failed us, that any politician who will not stand his ground, no matter the risk to his person, I said I will not speak for that politician again, and I maintain it. And you can see what is happening, because we can't go forward. We calm down. If Simfubara has been saying calm down, do you know where River State would have been? He said he's ready for them. He's fully prepared. The election must go on. The election must hold. Winners must be declared. They will be sworn in. And whatever is going to happen, let it happen. I am looking for leaders who would say nobody will rig my election. And if you rig my election, I will fight. Nigerians, come out and fight. If they kill anybody, let them kill all of us. Oh yes, and thank God I'm seeing it happen. What Fubara did, was he advocating for violence? Was he advocating that the law should be broken? No. He was advocating for his right. That's my opinion. That's my advocacy. We must advocate for our right and stand by it. I did not disqualify anybody. I don't have that right. I said I am not going to speak for anybody going forward except this person meets this criteria. In any case, we have finished 2023 election. It's over. 2027 election has not come. So anybody who is saying betrayal, what am I betraying? There is nothing on ground. When I was a spokesman in 2023, I did my job creditably well, and we convinced Nigerians on what we believe is right. But you can see that in Nigeria, you not only have to have the power to win election, you have to have the power to defend your election. So anybody that does not have that spirit or power to defend the votes in a manner that you would say, whatever happens to me as a person, let it happen. I am not willing to speak any further for the person. So what I just simply said is that going forward, I will no longer be part of this until these fears are addressed. So I did not disqualify anybody. One, I don't have that power. Then two, I am not betraying anybody because I'm still a member of Labour Party. And you can see I'm still fighting that Labour Party should be consolidated because Nigerians are looking for an alternative to these people. That if you want to fight these people who are compulsive thieves and who are the worst amongst us, leading us, according to Senator Ndume, who is part of them, then you have to grow higher and be more aggressive than calm down. That's what I said, and I stand by it. In all honesty, I would have said we don't. But because I'm a student of theology, I would not say so. Because when Elijah thought he was the only person that was worshiping God, God said, no, you're not the only person. There are more than 7,000 persons like you still in that country that have not done anything evil. I know them. So the only thing we have to do in this country, we must not be sentimentally attached to anybody, any politician. We must not be loyal to political parties or politicians. We have to be loyal to the country and to the law. And if any law is unjust, we have to fight the law. If anybody is doing anything illegal, no matter who the person is, we have to fight the person. So in Nigeria, we must create the environment so that those 7,000 that we do not know.
All right, enough of that. you know, there's a name that always comes to my mind anytime I see Kenneth Okonkwo. Do you know what that name is? I'll give you a hint. I'll sing you a song, then you may well know what that name is. I'll sing the song and let's see if you can guess at the name in the comment section. The song goes, everyone dio dio, everyone dio dio, da 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 da. So it's it puts me in mind of in Chief Zebudaya alias 430. That's what I think of when I when I say Kenneth Okonkwo, Zebudaya alias 430. So Kenneth Okonkwo alias 430, but Sim Fubara alias nothing, alias Godfather, you may well suggest now. I have knelt several times begging to resolve Rivers crisis. It is time for Wike to let go. This is Fubara now saying enough is enough. Like I said, a plague on both their houses. There's no victim here. There is nobody to be felt sorry for. They are both the worst of elements that Nigeria has to offer. But having said all that, maybe it's time for that state just to let him have peace. Then towards the build up to the election, then you strike in whatever manner you want to strike him. You can ensure that he doesn't get the ticket, and then maybe you go to this APP something and see if he can become the first governor of that party. But certainly enough of the daily Wike as standing on the neck, putting his jackboot on the neck of this bald-headed accountant. I have knelt several times begging to resolve Rivers crisis. It is time for Wike to let go Governor Fubara. So let's just take a little vignette. Rivers State Governor Femi Fubara has asked his predecessor and serving minister Yemsen Wike to let go of Rivers State and allow peace to reign in the oil-rich state. Fubara, and by the way, you see that these last three words is essentially where the problem is, oil-rich state. You see, it is the battle for the purse of that state that is going on. It is the battle for the purse of that state that is going on. And Wike is not battling for the purse of that state to enrich himself. He's stolen sufficiently enough in the 8 years that he was there, even more stealing going on in the FCT. So he's certainly not short of $1 or $2. But this battle for the wealth of that state is for the electoral value that it brings. Do you see these three words right here? Let me read you the paragraph again. Rivers State Governor Simi Fubara has asked his predecessor and serving minister Yemsen Wike to let go of Rivers State and allow peace to reign in the oil-rich state. You see that oil-rich state right there. Let me tell you the potency of Rivers State. The potency of Rivers State is almost the determination of who sits in the seat in Aso Rock. So Tinubu did not have a lot of part of it went towards bringing Tinubu in, but really what drove Buhari into State House was essentially River State money. Rotimi Amechi virtually he used all of the allocations of that state, sold a lot of the assets of that state, and pumped it into the Buhari campaign. And it was essentially the monies of our River State that actually, it was the politics of Tinubu, but it was the money of River State that brought Buhari into government. So that's the potency of those three words, oil-rich state. River State Governor Simi Fubara has asked his predecessor and serving minister Yemsen Wike to let go of River State and allow peace to reign in the oil-rich state. Fubara, who stated this on China's television program on Monday, said he does not regret conducting the local government election in the state last Saturday, despite the resistance of Wike's men in the People's Democratic Party and the APC. I have all the guts to do these things, the governor said, asking his predecessor to let go of whatever hold he thought he had over the South state. There is nothing I have not done on this earth for peace to reign. I can tell you the number of times I have knelt to beg to allow this issue go. The governor said he has kept all understanding he had with the minister of the FCT to ensure peace in the state, but the issue has continued to escalate. There is nothing I have not done on this earth for peace to reign. I can tell you the number of times I have knelt to beg that let's allow this issue go. I have done everything, Fubara said. Asked what his message to Wike would be. If they met, Fubara said, I will tell him, Wike, that it has gotten to a point where he needs to let go. We need peace in this state. You don't necessarily need to win all the fights. At this time, you just let go for the sake of the good people of River State and the love you have always professed for the state. We need to secure the state. Fubara will leave tomorrow. Who knows who is going to come? It might be through him or another person, but we need to secure the state. Fubara said election periods are over and it's time for governance. He urged the FCT minister to give peace a chance. What I am appealing is everyone should sheathe their swords. Even the minister, my oga, my boss, there is no need to destroy this state. He, Wike, once ruled this state, and the state was an envy of every other state. Another person is there now. What we need now is the support. After 4 years or 8 years, who knows? I will also leave and somebody else will take over. That should be the spirit. When it comes to the election period, you can fight and do whatever. But now is the time for governance. We need all the support, the governor said. Fubara said all Nigerians knew he had no hand in the destruction of the local government secretariats in River State. How can all Nigerians know that? This was the same guy that burnt down the State House of Assembly when they wanted to impeach him, and he's now telling us he has no hands. He probably burnt those secretariats in order then to point in the direction of Wike. The governor noted that he sounded the alarm on Sunday evening when he swore in 23 newly elected local government chairmen in the state that some aggrieved political actors had mobilized to destabilize the peace of the state on Monday. So that's Fubara then telling it that it's still, maybe peace should just reign in that state. Maybe enough is now enough. Maybe enough is now enough. Let me play you one more clip and then we'll see what happens after that. So one more clip. This is going back now to the, sorry. You know, I've been speaking for an hour and 30 minutes, so maybe I deserve a sip of water. What do you think? Do you think I'm deserving of a sip of water? Some of you probably think it's vodka in there. So now let's go now to the last clip, and then we'll see what happens after that. So we're going back to the narrative of this is the menage a trois. Do you know what a menage a trois is? A menage a trois is a threesome. A menage a trois is a threesome. So the menage a trois between the Falanovs, very dark man, and Bobrisky. So there it is. So that menage a trois is taking somewhat of a dark coloration. That threesome that we thought it was a bit of a joke and a laugh has taken somewhat of a dark coloration. Watch this.
The only disturbing area in this scenario is the threat to me and one of my 2 daughters. Some of these guys who I believe are deranged dared me. If you like, if you go to court, we shall burn the office.
They have also sent messages to one of my daughters that if your father goes to court, we shall kill you. I beg your pardon, in this country. I just laughed and I asked my girl, don't worry, I will take it up. I've already taken that up. Because we must also let these guys know where we are coming from.
So there it is right there. So I did say it's taking somewhat of a dark coloration. So the gnashers of the teeth and howlers at the moon. So you know them. That description should already tell you the demography. The gnashers of the teeth and howlers at the moon. They are now threatening the life of Falana's daughter. Should they deem them to assert its legal right to defend the defamatory commentaries ran against him by a very dark man. So yes, it has taken somewhat of a dark coloration right there. These people, they have to be faced down. Otherwise, the excesses of these people, it should have been called to order. But I think the government is taking somewhat of a tepid approach towards them, just so they can manage them up to 2027. And then once the election result has been announced in 2027, woe be tide. Listen to those words, oh, woe be tide. Woe be tide. There's in the Southeast, they have this cry that signals something, or that signals what's to come. They have this cry in the Southeast that signal what's to come. They go, unzobu nzobu enyeba enye, unzobu enyeba enye. So when you hear those words, there is no equivocation of what is about to happen. So in the Southwest, they have a similar cry. They say, Kolomo kilo formorel e nearo. So after 2027 election has been announced, and the cycle of the legalities has been affirmed, woe be tide. If you think the government, when they know that if Tinubu is returned, I'm speaking to this thing, I'm not saying Tinubu will be returned. There's a possibility he may or may not. But if Tinubu was returned in 2027, either by fair means or foul, by fair means or foul. And of course, if it's returned, everybody will claim it's by foul means. But whatever means, and the cycle then of the legalities are done and dusted, and we still get all of these knick-knack paddywhacks that we've been having, all this screeching and squealing like creatures from the deepest depths of the back of beyond, all this fang-toothed, something out of Lord of the Rings behavior that we have been, having to suffer for all these months and a year and a bit. If we have all of these missteps that we have been having after the 2027 elections, woe be tide. Then you will see that there is potency. So you will see that there is potency. We play the Kegite music and then we take it from there. So I like this sort of mellow. Yeah, maybe I did tell you that the platform will be evolving. It will be evolving from the just endless, we have elegant conversations here, but we want to have more civilized conversations going forward and more condensed as well, distilled into the core essence of something elegant and beautiful. So distilled into a core essence. So that's the force that is evolving. And then once we firm it up, then we may be making announcements in that direction. So the Kegites, and then we'll take it from there.
Only water, where they see ma. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. náìdó.
ẹ kú ní náìdó ẹ jọ padà sílé kájọ lọ.
Oró kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o.
Oró kẹ̀kẹ́.
Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùrè o.
Oró kẹ̀kẹ́.
Bọ́bí Màsà kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùrè o.
Oró kẹ̀kẹ́.
Chifu Fáìlàtì kẹ̀kẹ́ rẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùrè o.
Oró kẹ̀kẹ́.
Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdé.
Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdó.
Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùdóde ojàre o.
Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdó.
Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o.
gbé bọ́dì gbé.
Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹyẹ o ó dilé o.
ìrẹsílẹ̀ yàjọ.
Olúyẹ̀lá ẹyẹ o ó dilé o.
Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ.
Petrosoname ẹyẹ o ó dilé o.
Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ.
Petrosodunke ẹyẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o.
Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ.
Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o.
Ìgbàlà tí
ó lè jò.
Àkùkọ ọ̀run méjìkọ. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
All right, let me turn this down a bit. I'm listening to it as well. So yes, oro ke lemon. So oro ke lemon. Now, before I bring on the assembles, can I invite you to do us a favor? If you've not already clicked on the like button yet, this might well be the moment to do that. So if you've somewhat not yet had the thought to have the thought now to click on the like button. The subscription button needs feeding as well. So feed both the like and the subscribe button, and then that way you're feeding the platform as well. So I've not even mentioned super chats today. Usually I would have, but I leave that to your discretion. Always welcome, of course, if you want to super chat, do that. So joining us, the dulcet tones of Baba. So there's Baba right there. So elegant brilliance and frustration in equal measure gas them up. So we have gas them up and Baba. So we have those two, and we may just call it a night. So let's kick it off with Baba. So Baba, good to see you. Not a lot in the news cycle, but the ones in the news cycle certainly potent. You saw the clip of that airstrip being licensed to Canaan Land Ministry, and you were somewhat taken aback. So what's your take on that space? The distinction, of course, between an airstrip and an airport. Baba, we don't have Baba.
Okay. Like you, I forgot to unmute myself.
Yes.
How are you,
man? Really done. I'm good. All the better for you being here.
Yeah, great. And panelists, guys, them up. I hope you're doing well. Our people of the comment section, I salute you all, particularly our regulars. And our esteemed viewers, please, most importantly, don't forget to click the button to do subscribe and share much later if you desire. But please click the right like button right away. Yes, one man. I was taken aback actually. I didn't listen to the clip. I was absent-minded when you were showing that clip and exactly what he said. I hope it's not different from what I read, because I read it in two news portals, Nigerian news portals. I'm really disturbed. Really disturbed. If what I read, same thing he said in his clip, Bishop Oyedepo respectfully is a man of means and very flamboyant. And like everything Nigerian, he will not just have a strip. He will go the whole hog a kind of mini airport. Quote me. And listen, let's those that are listening should listen carefully. This man of God has 4 aircrafts, including a Gulfstream 5. These are large or by classification as executive aircraft. They are large, and he has a chopper which he rides from Canaanland to the airport to board his private jets. An airstrip, like you defined, is just a small strip for Piper aircraft with 1 propeller or 2 propellers, those small things with just a pilot and 1 other person, or max, maybe just 4 people, those light aircraft that will not go beyond maybe 20,000 feet. And that's mostly used for maybe forest guide people and stuff like that, or for oil facilities. That's what an airstrip is. What I read, he said he will not need to fly his chopper to the aircraft anymore. He will be taken off from his airstrip. That's what I read. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, the airstrip cannot take you on an international flight. I don't think it's essentially for domestic.
No, is that what I meant? Is that what he said? Because he's in the write-up I read, he will be taken off from that so-called, in quote now, airstrip license he got. You get my point. That's why I said he will.
It can't travel from there to America or even to Ghana.
That's
because he has to portal through immigration, customs, etc. Unless they go and build an immigration, it's for flying from Lagos to Port Harcourt, Kano, or something or the other. It's not for international.
Woman, we have a lot of people with private jets. When they come into our country, Nigeria, they are supposed to go straight. They use the international flight runway and go straight to the main airports and use the executive wing of it to come down. But what did they do? They fly straight into the presidential wing. That's where they all park their aircraft. They are not stashed, taking off or coming in or landing. And a lot of things.
No. They still get immigration. They still get immigration service.
Yes,
maybe, you know that immigration service could go and service them in the aircraft.
They are there as decoration, just to stamp things and let them go. You get my point? So this same thing, I suspect that place. Look, I'm making a prediction right now. So those who have ears, let them listen. That place will become a hub of its own, will take a life of its own. And every man of God will be parking their aircraft there. By the time you know it, it's become God's own airports. Where
no, it's people not an airport.
Let me finish, man. Let me finish. I say I'm making a prediction. I know this man. I know this man. He should not be allowed. I don't know who. Look,
do they have airstrips in America, private airstrips? Because I know they do.
We are talking about Nigeria and the Nigerian factor, one man. Let me land my point.
All right.
You don't know what. Look, they give you ordinarily a provisional license to run a finance company. Just on the basis of a provisional license, we go full hog. That's what we do in Nigeria. You've not even have the substantive license, just a provisional one. Say, okay, put your spread out there. Let's come and inspect and then give it the normal license so that you can start operation. The Nigerian will not go back to get the original license. So based on provisional, we go ahead. It is that same thing, that factor that will be brought to bear. I'm making a prediction, one man. Relax. they will turn that place into a hub. And by the time you know it's a mini airport of its own, all manners of men of God worldwide will be using there. And apart from landing and spreading the good news, so-called, only God knows exactly what they will be using that place for. The politicians also will come there and use the place also for all manners of activities. We are not matured for that kind of thing yet. It shouldn't be allowed. It should not be encouraged. Should not be encouraged. These are dangerous men. I'm sorry to use the word. These are dangerous men. I didn't listen to your clip, but I know what I read. And I have an understanding of what I read. I will not be using my helicopter anymore to fly to the airport to board my aircraft. What does that mean in simple language? Yes,
Baba,
sir.
what is your concern? What is your fear actually?
My fear is that airstrip is not going to be an airstrip. It's going to be a runway. And he will be using his private jets, including the Gulfstream. He has 4 parked there. And by implication, Redeem will park. Mountain on Fire will park their own. Businessmen will start seeing that place as a convenience and will be using that as a hub. And that is dangerous for the well-being of our nation, security-wise and economic, financial-wise. We cannot afford
I
that.
don't see any negative impact on financial aspect of it. I do not.
Baba thinks international flights can come in there. That's the thing.
No, I mean,
hold on, Dewale. Pansat, say something. You are there twice, so I can remove one. So unmute, say something, so I know which one is active. Pansat.
Yeah,
all right.
It's not from the avatar.
All right. I'll remove this one then. All right, Karen Dewale.
Okay, Baba, with all due respect, sir, I'm trying to understand your fear concerning this. I know the Nigerian factor is the one playing out where we see a religious body having an airstrip or airport to themselves, which, if we consider the economic hardship in the land, a lot of people will, pinch their nose and, look at the idea that no, this is absurd. Why would a religious body, establishing or granted an airstrip license? However, to God who make me, Baba, as small as I am, I'm actually thinking that a day will come. I will build my house in my village and I will have an airstrip. Actually, I've thought about this, that one day I will actually park my aircraft very close to my house, just like you have these Hollywood people in California. I do not share that fear. The fact is that government will make more money. In terms of security, I think we are becoming more. This is a global village now. I don't think I don't really know much about the industry, but I don't think it works that way because I know some people have hairstrip in Nigeria. I think I heard that Dangote does have hairstrip in Abidjan. I'm not so sure. But the thing is this: if we have a airstrip that is being licensed and they're able to pack the aircraft, won't government make money from those licenses? Then two, as big as Disney World is, they do not have airport or airstrip. So they are in agreement with Orlando Airport to the point that people do get visa for just visiting Disney World. And the moment you land at that airport, there's a direct bus that will take you from that airport straight to Disney World. So in a way, I think it's more of it will bolster tourism, and also the government and the country at large will make more money from it, other than just nurturing the fear that it's going to end up, in security crisis and all that. I do not share that fear, if I may.
Okay, Wale, this is the thing. And my fear is valid. You talk about you owning your own airstrip. We all know what airstrip is. It's for Piper plane. Even the Hollywood star you're talking about and everything. People like Saturday Night, what's that? Dirty Dancing guy. What's his name now?
John Travolta.
Travolta. He has about 3-4 aircraft. He parked them at the airport. They are not Piper. The lady, when I walked up like this, I forget things. Who fly? They all have their aircraft at the airports, not the airstrip. Airstrip is meant for small, very small aircraft, Pipers mostly, to use it for maybe people that are learning how to fly or to bring in groceries or things that is needed somewhere in the woods and things like that. But I'm telling you, yes, this church has been given a license to operate a strip. But he's talking about bringing his aircraft back there. Then it's no more a strip. It's an airport. It's a runway. It's going to eventually build. Mark my words.
An airstrip is a runway. It's a runway now.
No, it's a strip. It's a strip. It's not classified aviation. In aviation, it's not classified as a runway. Even an airstrip can be dirt road, like those ones, the narcos, what they use in Colombia. The Piper planes are so light, they can even land there easily. But when you say a runway, it's quite a concrete or asphalt thing, well laid out with the runway lights and everything, and even a tower that is well equipped and stuff like that. I'm making a prediction. I don't have any quarrel with this, but I know the Nigerian factor will come to play. And by the time we know it, we have a hub right there used by people who may not mean well for our country.
All right, Baba. Let me move on from there. I want to move it around quickly.
Yeah, I will go to the next one, I think, which is the next topic.
No, we had the never-ending saga that is Fubara versus Wike. We have the Nnpc telling us that they are hunting off being a middleman in the Dangote petroleum distribution, and then we're sort of meandering, and then the threat against the Falana family by
I'll take the Dangote one, actually, because I think they are now spreading well. Nnpc has relinquished some of their hold on that space. I'm happy they are accommodating the marketers now, so that the marketers also can have their own courts, because what is going on at the moment is very wrong. We cannot have a refinery of high capacity, and we are also importing PMS or products into our country. That is a theater of the absurd, if there's another word to use for it. Only in Nigeria that can happen. You have a refinery and you're importing 1 billion liters of PMS into the country. I mean, that's laughable. So now that they are allowing the marketers to buy directly, I think it's all very good now. So they are servicing all sides of the petroleum market spectrum, so that there will be no need for competition, unnecessary competition, and the nation will benefit. In the sense, I only hope that they are selling the crude at a discount to Dangote, because that will help to bring the price down a bit, not to the level of ridiculous level of 300, 400, like some people are agitating for, but at least to a reasonable standard. But mercifully enough, thank God, subsidy is gone and gone forever. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Did you know that when the Nnpc was the sole off-taker of Dangote Petrol, what they are telling us was that they were buying it at 898 and selling it to the marketers at 7 something. So they were still subsidizing about 133 naira. But now with this direct access of the marketers to Dangote, so willing buyer, willing seller, so if this carries through, then this will be the real first time that subsidy will be removed.
Exactly, you're correct. So that is why I'm very, very happy and excited about it, because we have suffered enough. But like every good or bad thing, there is always an end. Mercifully enough, since 1972, we've seen the back of long queues in the fuel station. We've suffered enough in that country. And if this is going to solve the problem, if it's going to be at a little bit of a cost, I think let's bear with it. After all, the CNG is taking a life of its own at the moment. So I'm all for it. I'm happy for it. And long may it last, if not forever. So if I still have time, maybe, or I go on to the Falan issue.
You will still have time, but Folake, good to see you. It's been a moment since we saw you, but Baba, I want to do it this way, because it's
by all means, go ahead, woman.
It's a cozy little panel, so I'll do it this way. We do 10 minutes monologue, and then 3 minutes, and then we wrap it up. If we can cap it under 3 hours, then that'll be brilliant. So let's go on to gas them up. So gas them up. Baba, I want to hear from you about the Nigerians not wanting to leave Lebanon and all of that. So still hang around. But let's go to gas them up, Pansat, Dewale. We do 7-10 minutes monologue, and then we loop around for the 3 minute sum up, and then we cap it off. So gas them up. Floor is yours.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Perfectly. Good to see you.
How you doing? I won't be too long. I just wanted to run down the topics. Can you start me with the Falana guy?
Yeah, so he came out today to say that threats were being issued against his daughter's life, that if he went to court to go and address this defamation that a very dark man has. And by the way, the defamation solely rests with very dark man, not the content of that clip, but the publication of it. So that's where, because it wasn't the content, which was a private conversation that defames, but it's the publishing of the content of that private conversation that defames, because it has put his name into public opprobrium. So that's what he needs to address. But it's now saying that there are threats coming through that if he attempts to sue very dark man, then there'll be threats to the life of his daughter. So that's what Falana has to say.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I think it's all nonsense. Shout out to him. I know he's a Yoruba luminary, and of course, there's going to be sensitivity there. I've always said the whole Ronu Abiola thing is real. You've denied it, but it is what it is. I think he's just listen. I'm not a lawyer. I have a couple of friends who are attorneys. I know the Nigerian legal system's different. But everyone, whether it's America or Nigeria, they still have their origins in the British legal tradition. My point is that very dark man did not slander him. He played a video. So the person who is on the audio that mentioned his name is the one who quote unquote slandered him. And so what has to happen is very dark man has to be brought to court to produce the people who provided him the audio, kind of like a journalist. And then, in the US, journalists aren't tasked with providing their sources, blah, blah, blah. So I think he's just making much ado about nothing. And the more he's doing that, the more he's making himself look, in my opinion, guilty. First and foremost, there's something known as being in a fiduciary capacity. There's something known as, not being engaged with, let me use a word called chicanery. And your son, who's also an attorney, falls, the bad guy, Falari, should have known better. Your father's a luminary. Don't have no conversation with Bob Brisky. You should be above board. And this is the thing, and then when we tell this to Nigerians, they get angry. Well, in America, I'm tired of us. Whenever it's something bad, we say they do it in America. But whenever it's something good, Nigeria is only a 2-year-old democracy. We got to cut it out. So Falana needs to stop crying, as we say in America, stop, bitching, and moaning. Dude, listen, if your hands are clean, your hands are clean. You ain't got to sue nobody. You know, they didn't defame you. Your name was mentioned in a video, and next time tell your son, keep my name out the BS. That's it. Keep your name out the BS. You don't hear George Bush's daughters involving their father in nonsense. You don't hear the Obama girls involving their father in nonsense because they've been trained properly and accordingly. You're a musician. What the hell do you have to do talking to Bob Risky for? But we don't tell.
We don't know what. Sorry,
Okay,
we don't know what Obama's daughters or Bush's children get up in their private life.
That's my point.
Only because it wasn't leaked. If this wasn't leaked, then the same principles would apply.
No, but that's my point. He's only, listen, again, the key concept, right, is to be above board. I'm not here to put my personal life out there, but I'm in a fiduciary capacity, which means my conduct has to be of a certain manner. And Falani, as an attorney, should know that. The minute Bob Risky or whoever, it could have been freaking, Tunde Chukudi or whoever called you. Hey, listen, I'm sorry, I can't get down. Hang up. That's it. So let me go on to the next one. But yeah, Falana needs to stop moaning and groaning. Tell your son to conduct himself in a proper capacity and not bring your family name with nonsense. What's the next topic?
We were also in the opening salvo the narrative of Nigerians refusing to leave Lebanon, even though the place is about to blow up. So as now seems to be the growing custom, as soon as there's conflict anywhere in the world, the Nigerian government sends in planes to evacuate. But out of the about 2,000 or so Nigerians living in Lebanon, only about 500 are indicating a willingness to leave. So what do you think the attribution would be?
Listen, Africans are sick in the head. I actually was talking to a good friend of mine who introduced me to a young lady who worked in Nigeria, and I don't know how true it is, but
your pimp, you mean?
My pimp? What are you talking about?
Well, who introduces people to a young lady other than no, carry on. That was my attempt at a joke. Carry on.
My God, one man, you're terrible. This guy likes to just slander me. But no, the woman was telling me, according to her experience, that majority of the hospitality industry is either owned or ran, particularly in Lagos, by Lebanese in Nigeria, and I was not surprised.
Not so in Kano, actually. The elite space in Kano is all Lebanese.
Okay, well, listen, once again, look, man, this just shows the type of, in science, we learn about the symbiotic and the parasitic and those type of relationships. We Nigerians, we just don't have any common sense. You're in a place that they're actively bombing. And instead of you to come to your country, you're saying, no, you'd rather stay in a bombed out territory, which is reflective of, these people, unfortunately, don't have long-term thinking, but at the same time it's reflective that the Nigerian leaders have to do a better job, because people shouldn't want to stay in a bombed out environment than to come back home to their country. So that's a sad reality. But as I'm getting older, I'm realizing the African man's mentality, particularly Nigerian man's mentality, they don't care. It doesn't bother them. These big men, these guys who live and who have power, these ones who want to be the wannabes in power, who hide in their estates in these fancy places. You tell them, you say, hey, look, man, we're being treated like this. We're being abused this. They don't care. As long as their kids can go to Oxford, Yale or whatever bullshit, and they have a little white girl in Dubai and they travel to Switzerland, they don't care. So, look, I hope the people, get a brain and get the hell out of there. And I hope our government can do better so that our people want to come back home. What's the next topic? Like I said, I don't want to take too much time. I know other people.
All right. Take us to the government then looking to, not even the government, the Nnpc are handing off as a conduit between Dangote refinery and the marketers. So that then it's now a totally liberalized market space. It's the ultimate achievement of that, which will then establish the true market price of petroleum in Nigeria. So what are you making of that? This is the final pull out of that subsidy regime.
Listen, anything that will alleviate the stress and ills of the Nigerian people, I'm all for it. If they feel liberalizing the oil space, will help the Nigerian economy, then sure, then do it. I'm not against it. I've always said, free market policies. It's always interesting. IMF, World Bank, all these Oyibo will come to your land and tell you to do free market, but then you ask them, say, Mr. Oyibo, let me ask you, in your own country, should be you have USDA, you have all these other government and quasi-government, why are they not stopping subsidy? Then, no African ever asked them that question. But, if this is what's going to work, then let it work. I don't think it's going to, because as I said, there are other inputs. The extraction cost of petroleum is extremely high. Many of our barrels that we produce are already pledged to loans that previous administrations have taken. So I think in the long term, it will work. But maybe for the next 3-4 years, it's going to be somewhat difficult to manage. And I think more importantly, we need to just keep it real. Like, let's tell the Nigerian people, hey, listen, we're embarking on a free market, course. And realistically, your price of fuel is going to be at 1,500. Get over it. Tell them the truth. Now the next question is, do they have the income to be able to consume that 1,500 fuel? So then the next thing, as I said, is if that's the case, if we're going to embark on free market policies, then the government has to be fair across the board. I'm going to repeat and reiterate. One of the number one things that this government, this administration can do, if they're going to borrow money, they need to dredge all the ports in Nigeria. I brought this up before. It got a little, ethnic, for the lack of a better term, because people rightly know that Lagos mafia, they're going to lose money, but that's okay because it's for the good of the nation. If you dredge all those ports in Nigeria, now you'll have higher commercial activity across the country. If you build
do you think Lagos will be averse to that?
I think that there are certain factions in Nigeria, we call them the cabals, that will be averse to it, and you'll have a fight on your hands. If I'm not mistaken, I was told
Can I disagree? I think
as long as I keep my time. As long as I can keep my time, but go ahead.
No, you keep your time, and then the conversation can still look round. So there are not that many of. And by the way, I think this is a tidier something. Maybe we'll not be having a. But I think Lagos might not be averse to that if they are able, because Lagos needs decongesting, so Lagos can breathe. And I'm not sure that Lagos is especially a lot of the monies from those ports, they actually go to the federal space. You will say that the Lagos State levies is still for it being within their purview, but the abundance of it goes to the federal space. But Lagos is just overly congested, and if there's one thing Lagos wants and needs the most is to decongest. So if they can dredge those spaces and move traffic there, and then move some people out of Lagos, I'm not sure that Lagos will object to that.
No, I don't think the average Lagosian, there's a divide, right? It's like the average Yoruba man and the average Igbo man isn't worried about, Ronu politics or IPOB politics. They're trying to survive. They live amongst themselves. They do business with themselves and they interact with themselves. They don't have time for the BS. It's people at the top and jobless people who push a narrative. So I agree with you on that level. It would make the most sense. It would free up the population density, and it would actually it would correct, because Ibadan, in my opinion, should be the hub of Yoruba in terms of that Lagos axis, but it should be Ibadan because that was the original location for Yoruba excellence in terms of business, in terms of breakthroughs and all types of things as we were embracing modernity. But, Lagos, of course, because the colonial business class, and that's why I tell people we got to research the history. So, I brought it up and somebody was trying to fight me like, no, the Lagos port was not dredged. And then I did a deep dive, come to find out Lagos port was dredged. So we need to do the same to every other port in Nigeria to reduce those population densities. And if we don't do high speed rail,
interject, please.
Sure. As long as I keep my time on, man, because I don't want to waste too much time. I want to keep going. But go ahead, sir.
Man, I think you can recognize the time. I'm just trying to correct that. Nigerian Ports Authority control 2 dredgers. We call them dredgers. One is named Kanji. I don't know, but presently a rented one, Sayonara, is working and is dredging all around Nigeria. The ports are being dredged every time because of the sand dunes upon which our ocean bodies lies. So that's just my contribution.
Yeah, no, yeah, thank you for that contribution. I'm not saying that it's not being dredged. You see, I think you're was that Baba? Who was that,
correct.
Baba? Yeah, Baba,
Correct.
shout out to you. Listen, Baba, we're not at odds, Baba. You're my brother, and I hope you one day can see me that way.
No, sure. Why not, Oshari? Come on.
It's the bigger picture of the dredging. As I said, as of right now, right? I just finished talking to a shipper. Most of what they're doing now, they're taking our stuff to Togo because they have the deeper seaport than we do. Right. And so they take them to Togo and then they bring it in to Nigeria. Or what happens a lot of times is the what's the name? Grimaldi. That's the name of the company. That's one of the.
I think the deepest port is actually in Apapa, which birthed one of the biggest ships in the world a few months ago.
No, One is the deepest.
Is it?
One in Bonny.
Is that one? There was a ship that came in from China that they said the one that I think
there's a container vessel
that they were building in the free trade zone or something. I think
there is a container vessel. Yeah.
So, gentlemen, I agree. Listen, I don't want us to split hairs. My point is that every port in Nigeria needs to be dredged to the capacity to hold large sea vessels, because what that does is, just think about it, with the technology that's available, people, and I'm not a fan of imports. I wish we could go back to strong manufacturing. We can reverse engineer, but for right now, that's what we're doing. But what that will do is I can sit in Ibadan, I can sit in, my Ondo state, I can sit in my Cross Rivers, I can sit in my Delta and import my goods online, wherever I get them from Turkey, from Greece, wherever, and bring them in. I don't have to sit down in Lagos and kill myself if I have rail that connects me to the middle belt, to the north. Now we can start doing cross-trade intra-locally on a barter basis. So what we can do is we can say, okay, I've brought in, let's say, 1,000 pounds of this commodity. What's the actual value? Oh, the Naira value is this. You people in the north, I need 1,000, or I need the equivalent of that much in food stocks. So if we solve the security issue in the north, now they can farm, they can send us the equivalent. We don't even have to necessarily exchange money. We can just simply exchange the goods. And if we have a society where they're being inspected properly and there's real trust and there's punishment for people who try to cheat, now we can start trading those goods. We don't even have to use the foreign currency. So these are things that we can do on a large scale. If all our ports are dredged to that capacity that they can hold the largest ships, and it's going to be an undertaking. It's going to cost us money. But the problem is our big men, our guys would say, why would I do that when I could take that money and have my blonde, side chick in Dubai? You're crazy. Guys, I would never do that. So we have to find a way to convince them that at the end of the day, it's better for the nation for them to do that. So let me get back to the Nnpc thing. If this is going to work, I'm not a fan of free market policies, but if it's going to work, let them do it. No beef. Let's see what it does. Let me go on to the next. I think it's 2 more topics, and then I know other people want to talk. I don't want to take too much time.
All right. What else were we speaking to? We're speaking to it says you've spoken about the Nigerians in Lebanon not wanting to come home. I think you've spoken to Nnpc.
So let me touch on weekend. So let me just wrap up.
Touch on weekend. And by the way, I was right. The deepest port is in Lekki. It's in Lekki, but carry on. Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So listen, the whole thing with Wike is, again, it's reflective of a problem that I think is indicative within the black man's psyche. We black men, I challenge Kaizo, look at the way we talk to each other and treat each other, even on these platforms. We do a lot of backbiting. We do a lot of funny things to each other. We don't realize and ask ourselves and say, if we're doing this to each other, the Oyibos and the people that we're complaining about, you think they know they watch these things? You think they don't see how we treat ourselves? So if you look at the mentality, I can give you so many examples, but like I said, I won't take too much time. You look at the example of Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. The young guy is rising. The old man doesn't want him to rise. Why? Give him his own space and let him go. You could easily create your own organization for him and let him go. Same thing with Wike. You're in Abuja now. Let Rivers go. Let Rivers go. Let them do their own thing and retire to the wayside. You cannot. You see, when you're an old man and you want to do Maradona politics, there will come a time. I think there was a video of one African leader. He was standing up and he was urinating on himself. He can't control his bladder. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah,
That
we
is
all
a
saw it. I think that was the Ugandan something. Not Uganda, one of those.
So one of them,
Cameroonian leader.
Cameroon, I
yes,
don't know.
Pobia.
So my point is, gentlemen, listen, let's talk to our grandfathers. Let's talk to the Falana types, because this is like the VDN. Falana, fall back, bro. Good, you're an old man. We give you your respect. You have wisdom. Fall to the wayside. Let the young ones take over and give them the wisdom. When Margaret Thatcher was too old, if you notice one thing about Igbos, they don't even show you their leaders when they can't even function. When their leaders are falling asleep in their oatmeal, can't even look at themselves, they never show them to you. But the image of the black, they show you Muhammad Ali shaking on a torch and they'll cry and say, oh, it's so touching. It's a lie. They're killing your image. And part of that problem is the African mind, the African mindset. He doesn't want to let go. Look, I was talking to my younger ones and they were telling me, I said, see, now not time. Me, I'm an old man. I don't have time for that. You guys go to the club, chase babes. I'm good, bro. I'm good. This is your time. Go enjoy. I'll give you the wisdom. Stay away from this. Stay away from this. Be careful of this. Make your money here. Do this. Enjoy it so you can go further than I went. Why don't we have that mentality? And I think that's the word I've always used on your platform, my man, is empathy. And if anything you people take away, have empathy. Have empathy for your fellow Igbo man, for your fellow Yoruba man, for your fellow Hausa, Fulani, wherever we come from. Let's have empathy. Let's have understanding. When we have empathy, I don't have to cheat you. I don't have to mistreat you. I don't have to do backbiting. I can call out what is wrong. I can help you do what's good. When we get to that level, then we'll see these type of behavior of Fubara. I mean, imagine you have to kneel down and beg. I think I saw a video in Delta. Somebody was going to beg Ibori because he's still a godfather. What, I'm in Nigeria. You see, people won't senior me. They'll say, yes, sir. I tell them, hey, listen, don't let money make you lose your respect, man. That's your birthright. You're older than me. Don't call me sir. I'm not, don't kiss my ass. I don't need that. But Nigeria is becoming a sick place. Yahoo boys are having police escorts. Mopo, they guide Yahoo boys. Look, man, the Nigerian mentality, the African man mentality, we have to change it. And if we don't change it, the Oyibos will always outsmart us because they say, look at how they treat themselves. What leader on the world stage, my last sentence, what leader on the world stage will see the way Wike is treating Fubara and take Wike serious? None. So please, let's have empathy. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, all right, brilliant. So that's gas them up, of course. The inimitable gas them up. So inimitable gas them up. Amanda has no second as well. Pansat, you're up next. 5-7 minutes monologue. Pansat, good to see you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. One man on the platform. Bonjour. Buenos dias. Shalom. And Buttercup. Hi in the comment section. That's Chioma. and those participating over there. One man, I know you probably want to feed me those things line by line, like you did with the last speaker. That's them up. I believe he covered a lot of those. No need to be redundant, right? But let me just say that Dangote Refinery is opaque. Anybody who's talking about it here, including you yourself, you're just guessing. You don't know. It's a hazy, misty, grimy, muddy, dirty refinery that depends on the government with his cabal.
Are you acknowledging that it exists now? Your stance was that it didn't build anything. So have you evolved to accept that it does have a refinery?
I have not, to be honest with you, but I know how on your platform. I don't try to give you any room to be arguing with me, so I'm just staying away from that. But I'm not convinced that it exists. I said it's opaque. You know, it's like when we have elections. If you truly win an election, the next day there'll be jubilation from your supporters. The same thing would have happened in this refinery. It's something that a lot of Nigerians take as a pride that we have the 7th largest refinery, right? So when you open it up, there are things that will be happening. See, we're not all stupid in that country. A lot of Nigerians love Dangote, especially minorities and the Yorubas. We in the Southeast, we don't care. We're for the product, for whatever, for the success. We don't believe in big men. It's big ideas. So you hear me sometimes talk about Dangote. It's not because if he's doing the right thing that I'll be complaining. I'll be happy. I'll be proud. But if you open a refinery, it will show. And the price of the
you just call Yorubas minorities. Is that what you're saying?
No, I did not. I did not say that.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know.
I said minorities and then the Yorubas.
Oh, okay. All right.
By the way, the word minority, it's relative. If you're comparing the Yorubas to the Igbos, then the Yorubas are minority compared to the Igbo population. You could see when a Yoruba guy is doing the right thing, like General, what's his name? The guy that does another show aside from one man. What's his name there? Mayegu General. He's telling the truth.
Yes. We're moving away from promoting other. They don't promote us so about carry on that. So,
but I understand. It's standard.
Okay. All right.
I won't pick you. But what I'm saying is that if you remove the Igbos on Mayegu General, he's going to be just like you here, who's pandering to the Yorubas. I don't know why you do that. Why you don't pander? You have the guy that just asked me a question a minute ago, Rational Mind. But anyway, what I was saying is that when you open a refinery that Nigerians are proud of, it will show in the faces of Nigerians in their pockets when they go to buy gasoline. What do you want to be opaque, dark, cloudy, hazy? And then what am I supposed to be jubilating about? That you want to make the government make you a monopoly, some kind of oligopoly, a consortium, a syndicate, and you are disrespecting our Nnpc Limited. That's their job. All right, so if you politically go and wrestle them down, like you've been saying, that they'll be cut down to accept that he could go out there and sell in the market. But let's see if he could do it then. Let's see him practice capitalism. Sell to the let it be, like you said, a willing buyer and a willing seller thing. It's never going to happen. All right, so he's powerful. I'm not one who goes about praising powerful men. We want the people to get a break. So if Dangote wants to prove me wrong, let him go there and let the people have a break. Because if you look at other countries in the world where they have petroleum, such as Iran and others, it's like 15 cents, 10 cents a liter in those countries. Google it right now, 10 cents. All right, and that's the government operated stuff. So a true
Pansat,
Yeah.
did you watch Dangote when he had this interview? He said the price of
Is it the one they had with the international?
yeah. So when he said in Saudi Arabia, it's a different price. So he wants to start selling to Nigerians at the maybe probably at the at the rate which the Saudi Arabians they sell theirs.
Yeah, but he has to make, in order for that to be a fair apples to apples, he has to give Nigerians the income of Saudis, right? So if he does that, fine. Raise their income to the level that Saudis have, that their minimum wage is, which is probably more than what our doctors make. But, you know, you have to compare apples to apples. If you make this employment and everything is going hunky-dory, yeah, then you let free market take its place. Let others come in and play. So to not waste time on this, because I said it's opaque. Even me myself who's talking, I don't have all the information, but I'm a very smart guy. I could look around, no matter what they're doing in the government and business. I could look at the market and I could tell you that it's good or it's bad. There should be a difference when we have the 7th largest refinery. You know, I'm here in the United States where refinery is nothing. In Texas alone, you have over 60. In California, you have over 60, bigger than his. Each one of those bigger than his. Now, that's if he has a refinery. I doubt that he has a refinery. Let him prove me wrong. Let in our journalists to come and see it refine. Somebody like Rufai and others. Let them come in and see it, because it's something that we're proud of. If I built a refinery in a country where I know I have fans, the day I'm going to open it, Nigerians are going to take off and they'll be rejoicing and say, yes, one of our guys has done good, right? Just let in journalists to come and see until you cut a deal with Nnpc. Let us in. Let's see what you got there, because after all, it's not your refinery, it's our refinery. He has over $4 billion of our money in there. Every time he's talking about his refinery, it's our refinery. We invested in it, 20%. So which one are you going to say and leave out the rest? So if you go to South Africa, they have billionaires there. Every time you say, I'm the richest man, you have a Patrice Tihopeni Mosepe, a young man, he's a multi-billionaire, businessman, does it the right way. And they have many billionaires in South Africa. He's not the richest anything. Now,
it's not the richest black man.
No, it's not, right? Because
really?
First of all, those things change around a lot. He's just the richest big mouth in Africa, right? Government, all these, if you divide up his empire into all the heads of state that have a stake in it, forget about our own stake that we bought legally, 20%. On his own, he says it's 7%. He's going to reduce us from 20 to 7%. That guy should be in a slammer for that. That's fraud. Because if you have a deal with somebody and you want to change any of the terms, you have to go to court. Even if you have the benefit of the doubt, right? You want to make it permanent. You want to go to court and have an arbiter, a court, say, okay, you know what, we're going to cut you down from 20% to 7%. Because the Dangote has shown that you did not fulfill certain obligations, or the jurist could adjust it. Instead of 7%, it's okay, it's 15% or 20%, because one of those percentages is in hundreds of millions of dollars, if it's not in billions. So he says he built it with 20 billion. That is a lie. I know how much $20 billion is. It's more than half of our budget to pay the army, pay the civil servants, the school. So it's not good news. I know that some people want to be proud of Dangote, and I want to be proud of Dangote. But you cannot be in a country where an individual has a deal with a country. And
if Dangote was called Chukwuemeka, would that have made a difference?
Absolutely not.
No,
it wouldn't make a difference, because you've seen me here talk about bad actors in our country. It has nothing to do with tribe. Look, I'm a big man. I'm a big guy. I'm an educated man who, incidentally, I have outrage with what the white people did in our country. Those are big themes that somebody like me should be facing your prime minister over there, one man, and stare him down and move him out of our country and do business with him over the phone. People like me are there to rescue Africa, not tribal stuff. But charity begins at home. We cannot say anything because these people are laughing at us. Do you really? Let me ask you something. Let me ask you a question, one man. Now answer this with facts. Do you really think Dangote built a refinery there? Do you think he built a refinery that does the things he's talking about?
It's impossible not to acknowledge that he has. The international space where did you see the commissioning when Buhari was there? All of Reuters was there, BBC was there, Sky News reported it in the UK. It was on the what was it? The Wall Street Journal. So I'm not sure that if it's a ruse, then it's a global ruse. I'm not sure that anything indicates that he has not done exactly as he said.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Listen to this, right? Because what you said, that activity occurred in 2021.
Yes.
Buhari, as our president, came and he said he's open for business. But since then, our NNPCL has been there and they say, hey, this thing is not complete. Number one, he's unlicensed. They're the one who does the licensing. He didn't sue them. If he sued them, yeah, then the court would say, okay, look, you harm this man. He didn't sue. They said that his it's like 40-something% complete. It's not complete. 40-something% complete. 3, that the product that he was making at the time, apparently he was making some diesel, that they were inferior to the one they import. Now, do you really think anybody's going to go treading on Dangote's head where the president is his friend, been his friend for a long time, right? So Nnpc at that point was doing the right thing. They had just won an award for that. Anyway, like I said, it's neither here nor there. I can be proven wrong. Let them open it up. We have 20% stake in there. Let our journalists come in and see the line. As you bring crude, it goes all the way until it distills the various components. Let's see it. I was naming to you some billionaires in Africa, good businessmen, young men, Patrice Ihopani Mosepe, right? Born in 1962 from Soweto, a black man. Now, when I say he's a billionaire in South Africa, I know you're thinking white. No, this is a young black man, a businessman, ethical business black man, independent of the state. Now, that's what we want to see all over the place. But, it looks, I go on this guy, and it's like I don't want him to succeed. I want him to succeed. I want him to do right. I want relief for our citizens. One individual having billions of dollars and everybody else is starving. It's ancient stuff. It's 16th century stuff, 17th century stuff. Right now we are in the enlightened age, and he can't play this game forever. If he says he's going to cut it down to 7.5%, he should go to court and go get that. Because if somebody like me do come in, I'm going to go after him. I'm going to restore that 20% minimum, or even take the whole thing over, because he's got no business in that business.
You've been coming in for going on 2 years now. So when is that plane going to land at Murtala Mohammed International Airport? You've been landing in Nigeria to sort it all out. You've given us that promise 2 years solid. So are you swimming to Nigeria or are you flying there?
Well, the answer to that is that I'm effective no matter where I am. We're in a global economy. You have to come up to age, one man, and defend your profession. As I'm talking to Nigerians on this platform, you should be proud of yourself. You make it possible for me to speak from here. The pen is mightier than the sword. But nevertheless, since I've been coming here, I've been home twice, right? You see me, I'm showing my face on camera, by the way. I've always done that since I've been here. And that's more than I could say for a lot of folks that come here.
Including the host, actually. So let me put on my camera.
Yeah, you were there, but my friend and somebody who I agree with, Rational Man, he's never going to show up his face here. But I agree with him. We don't disagree much. Right? It's not gonna be.
National mind is wanted in 52 states. You know, you can't show his face.
You know, what are the other topic here?
All right. Let me take you to Fubara Wiki, and then we'll move it around a bit. Gentlemen, if we can cap it at 3 hours and a bit, that would be great. Of course, you must have a position on Fubara Wiki. As Fubara is punching, is also pleading that, look, you know, I'm not going to go anywhere. You cannot spend the next 4 years just bullying me all the way through. So let me have my space. Let me govern this state. And then when it comes to the next cycle of elections, vent your spleen, do your worst. As much as I'm not like I said, they plague on both their houses. They are both not for the people. He wants to loot just as he saw Wiki, because I think he was the accountant for Wiki, wasn't he? So he knows how much was looted in that space. He wants his own compliment. So it's not as though somebody is for the people and the other one is against. But it cannot carry on in this vein that every single day you pick up a newspaper, is these two elements daggers drawn. So what's your take on that space and this rigged election that Fubara is presenting?
Exactly. One man, you and I will share sentiment on that. That is your current sentiment right now, because you're like water. Okay? In the past, maybe you were ice cube. Another time, you're a vapor. Right? But for right now, in the state you're in, I agree with you on the two actors. They're no good actors. Right? One at this moment is probably antidote for the other. This Wiki, it's too much. Now, you know, a lot of people sometimes they complain about Igbos, right? Here is one typical Igbo bad actor. Now, a lot of our people have moved away from that. Okay, maybe 30 years ago, you see a lot of Igbos like Wiki. We're no longer like that in the Southeast. But this is a typical Igbo man. This Wiki guy, and you know. I remember, a lot of you are young, but in those days, in the 70s, when you come, they convict somebody in the courts for armed robbery or whatever, usually heinous crime. And you come to the stadium on a Sunday, and we are delighted to watch it, and the time on the stick and shoot them. Armed robbers. It's a typical imagery. When I see Wiki, that's what I'm looking at, right? He goes over there, he's over there, and somehow he became a governor. Somehow he's a lawyer. But you don't see, you know, when somebody's a lawyer, when you go to school, it refines you. It's not only law you're studying, you try to get some class. You know math at a degree, you know physics, you know chemistry, until you finally specialize in something. This guy doesn't show any of that. He talks, he sings, he's playing on the fact that the country are afraid of the Igbos. So what he does is he likes to go sell out to the enemy. He did it right after the primary, and before the primary actually, he discarded the PDP chairman, because by the calculation, if the chairman comes from a certain area, then they have to make sure that the presidential candidate comes from another. Okay, so he did play the politics, and that's okay. But then he was counting on the North, right? There was a northern governor over there that fucked him and supported Atiku. So he left that party because he wanted to sell out the South. So that's a trick of Sabo's. He sold out the South. Have a lot of people lose their positions to make way for his. I don't know who he thinks is going to vote for him. But that's another thing with Nigerians. Now, if Nigerians are given a chance, they would actually elect somebody like Wiki into a post. I could see the blindness in the River State because they have oil there. They don't want to go to school, right? And they got the biggest mouth. The troublemakers. Look at who replaced him. But you see, the River State is like a mini Nigeria. You also have a lot of clannishness there. To them, Wiki is an Igbo man. If you look at Fubara or the other thug that was in the creeks, the big fat
Dokubo.
Yeah, if you listen to what he's saying, he's saying to Wiki, look, You think we're like you, Igbos? You think we're cowards? You're a coward. You're an Igbo man. You're a coward. Basically, that's what he's saying. A lot of people don't play that up. It's there. So these Jaws, because they have similar numbers, but they don't even have as much as you have Igbos there. It's just that the Igbos don't want to say they're Igbos, right? But they still dominate. There's still more Igbos in River State than other tribes like Ejos and all that. But that's what's going on there. It's clannish tribal stuff between Ejos and Igbos. We can apparently being the Igbo guy. But no, so now the new guy, Fubara, he's got a point that it's his turn as governor. He should have whatever the law gave him to operate as the chief executive of the state. But that's it. He's not a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. Without his war face, that he won all 23 local government areas, just like you have in Imo State and others, the periphery of the Southeast. Right? I talk about
it was an ugliness all the way through, isn't it, Pansat? Because this guy now he has claimed 22 out of 23 local governments. So what does that tell us? It tells us he essentially bought it, didn't he? So there is no politics. That politics is into multi-party contention with one party winning 95%, if not 99% of. So it's just it's no different from Wiki now. So it's just a battle for supremacy amongst this. Yeah.
It's worse than Wiki because what's going on, he's not gonna fool a guy like me, obviously. You know, I'm the sharpest Nigerian you're gonna see here, perhaps, more than even Africa, right? So let me tell you, he's been beating Wiki. Why? Because I bet you 90% he's got a deal with Tinubu and others. So when that happens, don't be shocked. Wiki is banking on the federal might, but they never really go all the way. I know that somebody like Abadu, what's his name now? Tinubu, yeah. He's got a deal with him. So,
when did you go into that? I thought you were too sophisticated for that Agbado or something. You're with them now.
I couldn't remember the real name, right? But to be honest with you, that's what's happening there. But you know that these are small stuff. When Nigeria changes, we're gonna sweep all these people out. Now you see me here. I'm supporting the German Fubara between the two fights right there. So I'm not clannish. They're both no good, but Fubara is right. It's his turn. And Wike, the big mouth, coward, big mouth, just like the other guy, the big mouth thug himself. But these are small. They want to dominate and distract us. These are small things. The local government, unless there's a change in structure, that's what governors are going to be doing all over the place. And they're not doing it for the people to bring democracy all the way down. Now, you have a new political party come and take over, sweep 22 out of 23. And the 23rd one was also won by another tiny party. It wasn't even by PDP, who has dominance over there. So we need to change the structure. We need elections to have integrity. But most of all, we need our judiciary. We need our judiciary to be independent. Nobody plays with that. But we don't have a judiciary. Now, every single one of them is a pocket of Tinubu and his APC goons. We need those things, but I hope we don't, because eventually we're going to take over that country by force. That's what I've been saying. I was only talked out of it so that we'll give all these things a chance, give the election a chance. They turned off IREV and the Beavers. Therefore, we're dealing with uncivilized people. We're dealing with thugs who have taken over our country. Cabal. They're playing games with all of us. Distraction after distraction. These are small issues. We have to change the structure, and it has to be done by force. Now, by the way, let me say this. Ajala Cook is not here. We've given Showore a chance. He's putting himself at risk. I will commend him for that, but he doesn't have the capacity to do any of the things that he's thinking about doing. But he has a heart. He's a good guy. He needs to step aside, let those who have judgment, and let him assist those people, because he has.
I did actually want to move on to rational mind, just to manage the time. But
okay.
now you've gotten on just like about 2 minutes or so. Now you've gone on to that show rest space. What are you making? So allegedly, apparently, there's a protest going on that he's organizing. I've not seen any. I saw a little skirmish when he landed and rode people on the streets for about there's no momentum behind it. It's not commanding the center stage. It's certainly not in the headlines. It's a satellite parochial outpost, something in the furthest back of the ethers. So do you think it's overplayed? It's overplayed his hands with this protest? Fresh off the success of the first one, and that success not attributable to him, because there was a whole myriad of other vested pockets of discomfort and distress that wanted expression through that portal. So the success of that end bad governance protest is not attributable to Sowore. So this protest now that we're having now is more of a Sowore sort of protest, where one man and his dog, so Sowore and his man Friday, they will wear their white shirts, start to speak American lingo, and then the police will come and disperse them. So do you think this is overplayed his hands with this short after protest that he's doing?
Absolutely. Now, what I'm going to say should not take away from his effort. He's tried. He's done very well. He's a patriot. I'm not one of those who suspect that he's paid off and is distracting the youth and doing all that. I believe that he grew up at a certain point in Nigeria where university students can sing songs, and at that time we had a modicum of integrity in our law enforcement and our government agencies and our courts. So he was dealing with semi-humane people, be they military. They also had some kind of heart. But today, that's passé. That's not the way to go, right? Sowore was not building up. For example, you have the obedience, and if you go and you're assaulting Peter Obi unfairly, nobody's above criticism. But if your biggest point is that he used to be in the PDP, therefore I'm not going to work with him, and he has all these millions of followers from north to south, from east to west, well, what are you doing? So you lose a lot of people there. You cannot get the critical mass for a revolution. Somebody says about 13% or something like that of the country. So I would leave it there, because you have Rational Mind coming up, and I do want to hear what he has to say. But
I'll go on to Rational Mind for next now. But I will I'll keep hold of what you just said there, that the critical mass for a revolution is 13%. So sorry, where's that coming from?
Somebody mentioned that. So you could Google it fast.
Is that a universal norm? Is that a universal understanding that the critical mass of a country, the critical mass for revolution in a country is 13%?
Yes, that's what I heard. Now, I don't know how true it is. It's not.
It stands to logic anyway. It stands to logic. So that's what struck me. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that many to put together, okay, for our country. I know for progressives, they will have that number for sure. But nobody has come in with the charisma.
So it's not so much that 13% take to the streets in lockstep, but that 13% is in alignment for that revolutionary zeal. And then the people that have the youth that can take to the streets, is that somewhat where that is?
Yeah, it is along those lines. But we could double that, make it 25%, right? If even that is still a number that's attainable, given what we're going through. So we don't have the congruence of all the factors where somebody has the charisma. For example, P2B has the charisma, but he doesn't have the courage to do that, right? He's not cut from that mode. But Showore has that mode, but he doesn't have the charisma. So there was a need for all these people to come together. Or one day somebody's going to emerge to do such a thing. We're a big country. I know we have all kinds of characters in the country, and there's nothing we lack.
I have to say I align with you that Nigeria does need a revolution, but who is going to champion it? It's not visible in the landscape at the moment. So like you said, Peter will be somewhat of a patter cake, sort of a personality, to sort of an Luther socialist extreme, you know, and then nobody else in between that gap that really shows anything that you can invest confidence in.
That is correct. I yield back, and then Rational Mind, let's hear what you got to say.
Rational Mind, you're up next. So thank you. So that's Pansat. Now, I've been reasonable with time. Yeah, it really has evolved. So Rational Mind, you're up next.
You said Pansat is involved, right?
Yes, usually he wants to hold the center stage and not give it to anybody.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's just a new man today. I mean, compared to the Pansat that we used to know. I mean, if this is the Pansat, we've been having all this while. I mean, at least this bickering and so many conflicts here that people have with him, even myself from once in a while. I mean, we'll be having it. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good it's good to know that this is a new Pansat. Perhaps we'll see how that goes going forward. Yeah, woman. You see, I've not really been paying attention much to the goings on in Nigeria. You may have to bring me up to speed. I'm being when you were reading the headlines and reading the contents, I was busy doing something else. Yeah, so you may want to bring me up to speed with some of the topics you have.
Yes, you are right not to have paid attention because there's not that much going on within the news cycle. But what this strike is Nnpc quitting as the middleman in the Dangote refinery petrol purchase. So now that tells us then that straight to market, then the marketers then negotiate willing buyer, willing seller, agreed price, and then of course the trade then takes place. So, but what this also means now with the Nnpc coming out of that tripartite, whatever it is, that means then that subsidy finally gets removed because there's no government intersection anymore in between that trade or in that trade. So, what are you making then of Nnpc's handing off?
Well, oh man, I have been trying to read on that. I do get, like I said, some bulletin from my stockbroking firm. I would click on those things, and they would just give me what's it called, different news going on in Nigeria. So, yeah, I think they said I was looking at is it the Punch or the Business Daily? They said Nigerian GDP will grow to almost like over $400 billion with the coming to stream of this Dangote's refinery. That is even excluding the two other refineries that I think they said is coming up. I don't know, maybe it's the Nigerian one or maybe some other private refineries. So might possibly grow that economy more than that half a trillion dollars. But we'll see how that goes. But you see, when you have visionless leaders, that's what we get. We've been hearing about Dangote will be having this crude oil sold to him in dollars. I mean, in naira rather. They've been making this noise for the past several months now. And when we say we don't believe these people when they say certain things, you see when people just hate them. When some of us come here, we speak like naysayers. We speak with this skepticism, like we often speak here. You think we hate Tinubu? It's just because these people look at what they say, look at what actually transpired or what they do. You see that gulf that is it's even different from what they are telling you. So it calls to question so many things that they have already even said, even the ones that are well intentioned, that you will say, oh, okay, it's good to praise it. So my point is that we've been hearing about this naira for crude oil. But to this very moment, I don't think anybody has given an account as to how many barrels they supply to this guy. And if these guys are really paid wherever it needs to be paid. Is it the Nigerian government in Naira? We don't even know. So you kind of wonder, what is going on in that country? And still people are still paying high premium for petrol, for all these things. So you kind of wonder what's going on, because people were like eroding this Dangote's refinery as some kind of some sort of panacea to the problem of the this energy crisis when it comes to our reliance on petrol to virtually, I mean, almost to almost fuel all our appliances. I mean, our gadget or whatever. Is it whatever we run, we use it at home. You run your generator, your car, or whatever. So you kind of think that's going to be some sort of a solution to it, to some extent. But we're seeing that it's even convoluting the whole thing more and more. It's bringing in more and more confusion that you don't even know what to think, what to even make of it. Because right now we're hearing now that those marketers that Dangote will be asking them to pay him in dollars. I don't know if you guys heard about that. He will be asking them to pay him in dollars. I mean, I'm yet to hear that. If anybody debunked that, said that. Okay,
I've not heard that. So that's not what the agreement was.
So what's the, because this IOC, I mean, these guys who buy these things, they get paid, and they go source dollars, right, to go buy this. I don't know. You see, that's why we say there's a lot of how do I say? What's that word I'm looking for?
The agreement the government struck with Dangote is a three-way agreement. They sell the crude to him. Yes, they sell the crude to him in Naira, and then he in turn sells the petrol to the marketers in Naira as well. And then they establish that price of sale at the spot price of the exchange rate at the point of that agreement. So once they establish that, and this is where money is now going to be made, they will then hold firm to that price for 6 months and then revisit it again. So that's the agreement that is struck.
So why peg it at exchange rate? What does Naira? I mean, what does dollar? That's what I'm saying. You see, when these people say something things, you just need to read between that line, read the fine print very well, just to understand. Because these people, they will say certain things, and you see something sort of thing happening. Why do you have to bring an exchange rate to it? If you're paying in Naira, just pay it in Naira.
No, it's a dollar. How do you establish the price?
Well, I know it's going to be on dollars because they'll use the dollar the dollar ratio, right?
Yes, it's a dollarized
how much are they selling?
Yeah.
Selling the petrol. I mean, selling gas here in America, right? Is that what
No. It will be the price of crude in dollars at that time. So that would be what determines it.
Come on,
and then they'll
well, man, I don't know. Somebody bring me up to speed with that, because I can't even understand.
Is that an unreasonable position?
No, because you're not buying it from international market. Like, you're not going to like Malta. You're going to Europe to buy these petrol. You're buying it locally. So
yes,
why would you have to peg it to a dollar rate?
No. Let's say, for instance, the price of just for the purposes of example, the price of crude is let's say $10 a barrel. So that's just for the purposes of example. So they have to determine that it is internationally $10 to the barrel, but then it's not a dollar deal. So it will be the equivalent of that $10 at that point in time. And then that's what the transaction will be based on. So the dollar establishes the price, but the transaction is carried out in Naira.
Well, I think you see. Well, let's just see. You see, when people say these confusing things, it's just I understand you, like you just explained it now. I get it that he has to buy crude. If I thought he's buying crude from elsewhere, he has to buy it in dollars, right? But then when he's selling, he has refined this product. He's selling it locally. Why do we have to peg it? Because even though they're selling to him in Naira, but in dollar, that's the crude that is buying from the US, I mean, from Nigerian government or whoever is buying it locally in Nigeria. But when he's selling it locally So I mean, why do you have to peg it? I mean, is there like are you
They,
using?
they're not pegging that, but they're just saying that transaction has to also carry out in naira.
In naira, but
yes.
How do you sell per liter then? Each liter you're selling to marketers, are you selling it at what? Are you pegging it to a particular price from a country, like say it's the US or from Saudi Arabia?
No, I think that's a willing buyer, willing seller space.
That area too is convoluted because it's not too, it's a gray area that we're not even clear. So what is that basis by which, what is that price control there?
No, it's a combination of the price of purchase of crude, the cost of refining,
I understand,
and then the margin of profit. So that's what would determine.
He has to, I mean, he has to factor everything in, the refining, the chemicals that he has to use in refining them. I mean, the cost of doing the refining, everything has to go into that. I get it. I understand. But you see, let me not speak like somebody who doesn't know what to say, but I think what I'm saying is clear in my mind. But my point is just that what's going to be the price at which you're going to be selling it? Is it the other West African country price? Or is it the Saudi Arabian price that he said in Saudi Arabia when he was making that comment? So for me, you see, now these people who have taken Nigerians, they've taken them for like they take them like, you know, like somebody said, Nigerians are just docile people. In fact, when you're even fighting for them, they will be attacking you. That your papa will be Tinubu. So, I mean, I had somebody who call me so many times and say, my papa not will be like Tinubu. Even me, all my family not will be like Tinubu. In a million years, as I look, I say, my boy, any problem when, you know. So you kind of wonder that people that you are fighting for, you are even like advocating for, I mean, a better life for them. They will come here and insult you. So for me, you see, that's why sometimes I just let me take a step a little bit back, and because Nigeria, you can't fight for them. They are just they are conquered people, mentally conquered people. They just, so for me,
Stockholm syndrome, Abi.
That too, yeah. So for me, it's just I don't understand going forward. I don't know how this Dangote matter production of PMS is going to reduce that hardship on Nigerians, because invariably, if they're selling it at say above 1,000 naira to a liter, so what's the point of a refinery then? That's the question. Because I don't expect, because at this point that Dangote is now, he wants to, because he has creditors, he has money that he has borrowed from banks, and he has to pay back. $20 billion. It's not as
Do you know that it's still the cheapest in the world at 1,000 naira to a liter?
You go. You can continue saying, see, one man, don't say things you don't even know. How can you say it's the cheapest in the world when some other countries are selling, places like Iran or maybe Iraq, they sell gas at a very cheaper. They don't have the kind of problem that we have, whereby it's just because of all this. They use this as this stupid excuse of, oh, people smuggle it, because when they were selling like 98 naira per liter, so people were smuggling into the neighboring country and selling it like 3 times that amount of money, maybe selling for 500 naira in the neighboring country. But they don't have it over there in the Middle East. They don't have that kind of problem. They are not that corrupt to that point whereby they will start trading, because Nigerians are so they're so fixated on one thing. There are no other opportunities for them to go make money in a different way. Everybody just put their attention on one thing. Because one thing about Nigeria is that all they know is petrol, gas, petrol. And they see that as the only avenue for them to enrich themselves. There are millions of other ways you can make money. But because the fixation is just on that, because there are no other opportunities in that country, you can look at those creek areas from my area there, where I'm from in Ondo State there. There are so many hidden places whereby the boys they have their own mini refineries there. I mean, why should in a country that is sane, why would they have a kind of things like that? And you'll be seeing burning of they just burn, and you will see some of them, they look so black. All the forests there, the mangrove area, they're all dead from contamination of those soot from the burning of those things there. The ecological the nature there is all gone. So my point is that in a country where people, there are other opportunities, I bet you people will not be doing those kind of knowing the effect on their health and to the environment. They will not be doing that. They'll go and look for other opportunities and go get themselves involved in other business. But because that is the only thing, because there's a huge mafia mafia around that thing. That's why they just want to do that crude oil business. That is why everybody just want to cut that country, cut it to pieces, and get whatever they want to get from it. So I don't think we're ever going to see a hand to this. Maybe the only way is if they can work on our electricity, if they can bring Nigerians to be having at least nothing less than 15 hours regular supply of electricity. I tell you, people will gradually just not even care about petrol anymore. But because the country has so many things fighting it, you have electricity, you have issue of people cannot even move from one point to another to even operate their machines for manufacture. They cannot. They depend on this gas or on diesel. So you see the problem of that country. And like I said at the beginning, I said we have visionless leaders who can't think through problems. If Tinubu wants to solve the electricity problem, if you can bring the electricity where you can generate electricity up to 50,000 megawatts, I tell you, all our industries, they start hooking up to those grid and not even have to worry to buy, what's it called, diesel anymore. I mean, all those guys in the creek, they will pack up. All those guys stealing our crude, even all these people who don't market, most of them will pack up. They will look for other things to go and do with their money. Bring in, maybe create some other business opportunities within Nigeria. But because everybody's so fixated on that crude, that's why that's why we're having that problem in that country. So for me, if Tinubu knows what is good for him, if he knows he really wants to solve that problem, maybe if the only thing he can solve before he eventually leave that place is that electricity, let him just work on it. Because since these mafias are just on this gas,
are you not getting feedback that there's a marked improvement in electricity?
Even besides that, one man, electricity is out of the exclusive list. It's no more in the first schedule.
Yeah, so yes, why are they having Siemens from Germany come and started doing their grid for them? And that's
the federal government is just going on. Federal government is just addressing the old contracts. But any state, even local government that wants their own power station today, can have their own power station.
But Baba, I'm actually going to platform. Although I won't want to attack you on that much because you and I were here. But when people from Nigeria they tell you the how terrible it is when it comes to electricity. I mean, I have a cousin who does diesel business. Himself is even lamenting about the diesel business, not as if because he doesn't have the money to buy diesel, but there's no diesel to buy because there's. I mean, what I'm saying is that people are asking him. They want to power their machines. They want to companies that he supplies. But the point is that the demand is high for it, but they don't have means of supplying them because I don't know, maybe they're not getting regular supply from maybe Dangote or whoever brings it in from outside.
If you're talking about diesel, diesel is deregulated long time ago and it's readily available. It's just the cost that differs from one place to the other. And people like Innocent and other manufacturers, most of them have since changed to CNG or LPG gas they use for their factory, for their production level. They don't use diesel anymore. They've all changed.
Some companies, I don't know what, that's what I'm saying, Baba. You and I were here. I don't know where you're getting your own news from. I'm getting my own news from that. Yeah,
and telling me because I have an open mind and it's an industry I know fairly small. I know the industry.
Is this the reality? We're talking about what's the reality on ground. Our people are,
and that's what I'm telling you. Or does Innocent still use diesel? No. Does Dangote has his own power station and it has surplus.
What does Innocent
Dangote even have about 150 megahertz or so of surplus.
Is it all companies that can generate their own electricity themselves? You know how many small scale manufacturing industry that cannot do that? Yeah.
Like Lagos, for instance. Let me tell you, Lagos, for instance, a lot of private energy producers are in Lagos. No, what I'm telling, no, listen. What I'm saying is that it's out of the exclusive list.
I get
so every state can produce or generate their own
so are they producing now? Who is coming to invest in Nigeria? Who is
coming Abia has one, and I think
that's the only one.
And it's scattered here and there, but the people of the north have not had anything. But in Lagos State, there are about 4 power stations privately owned.
And yet people are lamenting about the supply of this electricity. And yet we come in here, we talk about this and that, and Dangote supplying individual homes their electricity. I mean, come on, let's not do this, because for me it's just, I mean, in a sense,
it is you that have that's not listening.
not me.
We are discussing to understand the situation.
There is no electricity.
You understand? You come and every day is about the same thing. But I'm telling you what obtains on the ground. What obtains on the ground is what I'm trying to explain to
how
you.
we do things here, and then we wish different thing for our people. We'll back home.
Rational mind, please, can I interject? Baba, please take it easy on rational mind. Understand rational mind concerned. But rational mind, what you have to understand is that electricity is out of the exclusive list. Blame it on solely.
So what's the impact?
Okay, the problem. Blame it on solely on the governors that could not attract an investor to invest on electricity in their state.
What can they attract?
Yeah, the reason why they cannot attract is that federal government have stopped being the collateral to governors' loans and deals. That's why you see them. Yeah. Hold on, please. Hold on. Every day you want to sign with the PPP or loan you have to take, this federal government that is the collateral, and federal government has long pull out from that, stop that. That's why you are seeing that most of our governors, you see that is being the center. They are just charading, hiding under the center. Now you have the opportunity to go in to attract investors to come and invest in different sectors in your state. Why are they not doing it?
Yeah, well, please correct me.
Does Edo? All right.
I think Edo. No, wait one man. Wait.
Sorry, Baba. I just want to say something to the audience. I'm going to end this stream and restart it immediately. So go to the platform and then click on the link.
Why now,
again. So because I want to be cutting them into 3-hour slots. Okay. Yes. I want to be cutting them into 3-hour slots. So just go to it will stop and then restart immediately. So just go to YouTube and restart it. Carry on, Baba.
Yeah, well, correct me. I think Edo State